Hi, guys. Welcome to today's episode of A Student of the Game podcast. I'm Kevin. I'm a student. And today's teacher is going to be Ms. Bre Fowler. How are you doing today?
Hello.
Hi. So it's a pleasure to have you on and talk about a lot of the different things that you've got going on. If you had to kind of quick notes, your job description, job title at the moment, what would it be?
A lot. Entrepreneur, wine connoisseur, and still working 9 to 5.
So quite a bit going on, huh?
All right.
Nice. You got some sleep last night or what?
No.
Not too much?
No.
I get it. Well, we're going to kind of unpack this as we get going. I want to take one opportunity and talk about this episode's sponsor. It's one of my favorite companies on planet Earth. You know, as we've been, getting our episodes out, and you guys have been showing, phenomenal support. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We've started to get a lot of different places saying, hey, would you mind, talking about our product? And, there was a moment where I wanted to kind of remind myself that to utilize my platform, I want to make sure I trust the people we're talking about. And as we've been, talking about True Labs, which is, one of my favorite people and companies on the planet, these guys have been coming out with new products. And this is actually a brand new drop. I'm one of the first people to have the box of the new Energy Plus Focus, which is awesome, right? I've been doing the pre-workout. I've been talking to you guys about the Hydrate 15. Well, they've now come out with something throughout the course of your day that will keep you, locked in, dialed in, going to replace the rains and the bangs and the monsters that I've been kind of addicted to. And coming off this 5-day cleanse, I haven't craved any energy drinks. I haven't had a soda, which those of you guys who know me know how challenging that is for me. So I'm excited to, get going on this Monday and get this put into my life. I want you guys to check it out, truelabs.com. If you go in and you purchase this as a one-time purchase, you'll get a discount. The discount code is STUDENT, as in a Student of the Game podcast. So go check that out. Go try it out. This is the new Frost flavor, which is phenomenal. And it gave me an awesome day today. I was extremely productive. So kind of want to dive into your story, Bre. So talk to me about where it began, right? We're obviously going to unpack what you're doing now, the endeavors you've got going on from, the wine ships to the YouTube channel to, what you're doing with your clothing brand. But where did it all begin? What started your drive to want to get into this, into this world and make something happen?
To get in this lane, this type of industry.
Yeah.
The pandemic.
Okay.
Shout out to the pandemic. I think not just for me, but I think for everybody, the pandemic pretty much unlocked a lot of people talents, and that's exactly what it did for me. I took a hobby, I started off doing wine rates. For those who don't know what wine rates are, I just had my Instagram where I would, get bottles of wine and pretty much just rate them for my followers that were interested. And once the pandemic hit, I was like, you know what, let me dive in a little more deeper than this. So for me, what I do, I have to visualize everything. I have to write it down. That's my thing. Mm-hmm. So I gave myself a goal, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take it one step further. And I'm going to do a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And I'm going to create wine chips, and that's what I did. I gave myself, 6-8 months, and it came. I did it. After that, I'm like, okay, you know what? I should be doing something else, something bigger. I got to keep going. And then that's when I created my brand.
Okay, wait, time out. We're moving too fast now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Listen, we're 100% going to want to talk about your brand because what we really want to learn from you. Obviously, there's a lot of things I do think a lot of people in the world can learn from you, both from your mindset, your mentality, and how you approach the game, to a lot of the different steps you've taken to be where you are. But for me, it's important, I think, for our audience to understand is where it all began, right? Because if we just start rolling into what you're doing now and I start picking at, hey, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? The problem is people are going to assume you had a head start. They're going to assume that you knew everything that you now know, or someone taught you and trained you. And that's one of the biggest questions is not only can it be done, but can I see people like me do it? And that's one of the things that really inspired and motivated me at a young age was seeing people who looked like me from similar backgrounds, who didn't have those unlimited, sources of availability and knowledge and these pools of people who could give them all the answers. And then they made a level of success that shows you, okay, I can do this too. I'm not saying the road's going to be easy, but it's a possibility. So the first question on that and caveat is, before I even dive into how long have you wanted to be in entrepreneurship or get into building a brand, just how long have you been into wine?
We're in 2022. For about 3 years now, knocking on 3 years.
So this is a recent endeavor for you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It wasn't something that I, always wanted to do. And I'm glad you touched based on that earlier, what you were saying. Being able to, like, I don't see people that look like me or, in this type of industry. So being on this journey, it kind of opened up my mind to where, like, it kind of reverted back to where growing up, I didn't know about wine. I didn't see people like me that was, that drink wine. And I thought it was just a one lane type of thing, like only certain people could drink wine. Mm-hmm. So now where I'm at is just kind of to bring awareness to people like me, mm-hmm. To be like, oh, wine it's pretty fucking cool to do.
What got you into it though? Like, I'm the same way, right? Let me make this clear. I tried to get into wine last year, and I'm still into it, which is why I'm really excited to have you on. Mm-hmm. I am a big whiskey connoisseur. I love whiskey. I have a ton of whiskey in the bar. Most guys who know me on a high level, they gift me whiskey, right? We talked, I think it was Travis's episode. Brittany gave me an awesome bottle of Weller, which was amazing. Recently, Ron, I want to give you a huge shout out, man. I appreciate that bottle of whatever you gave me. I know it was expensive. I haven't opened it yet, but I can tell it was expensive, so I appreciate you. I've been into whiskey, and I wanted to get into wine because, in my opinion, and maybe you can tell me this, I feel like it unlocks a lot of different circles. I feel like there are, I've seen wine tasting events and these wine things, and I want to go because I want to have the opportunity to mix and mingle, but unfortunately, I don't feel I'm at that level yet, and I want to learn. And I'll be honest, I tried to learn wine, and it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
That's one of the reasons why I did it, because it was a challenge for me. Like,
so how did you get into it? Who introduced you?
I introduced myself.
Okay.
I'm glad you said you're a whiskey person. You don't drink wine. I'm not a drinker. Like, I'm not big on alcohol. So wine was kind of a thing for me to where it didn't make me, get to a certain point where, like, I just hated the taste and everything. Like, I don't drink, the whole, the Hennessy, the tequilas, like stuff like that. I don't, that's not my lane. And then wine was kind of like, oh, this is like perfect for me. And then I kind of just like took it a step further.
So you decided, hey, I want to get into the wine, because I'm not a hard liquor drinker, but this is something I think I want to get into. How does it become a passion that then, stews into now an industry that you're disrupting? That's because here's the reality, right? We all have hobbies. We all like things, right? Like, I like golf. I enjoy golf. I think golf is something I'm trying to really get good at and adapt because I'm going to do it the rest of my life, right? It's a sport you can play when you're old. And I'm not great, man. I think I'm good until I play with people that are good, right? Like, I think it was me and Alex, Alex Bemanish. We were like, hey, let's go play some golf. This is probably like a month ago. And I invited one of my buddies who lives in the building. And we go play. And, I'm feeling good, right? I know I've played with Alex. He's not great. He's not bad. We're at the same level. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, let's get out. Let's have some beers. Let's play some golf. And Sam comes. And this fool, I already knew it was going to be a tough day when he whipped out the binoculars, right? You know what I mean? Like the rangefinder
you got
binoculars.
The show. I was like,
and when you see that, one of two things happens. They're either, right, like the dude in the basketball court with all the gear, he ain't very good. Mm-hmm. Or you're really good. Mm-hmm. And he was really good, man. We played 18 holes with a 72, score, and he shot a -2. And for those of you who know golf, dude, that's like college level, like D1. And I'm just like, go home, like leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? So getting into it, I'm interested in it, but at no point did it cross my mind like I want to get into the business of golf. Yeah. Like that didn't hit me.
Right.
So my question, and neither did it hit me that I want to start, buying and selling and talking about whiskey. Mm-hmm. So I get that you got into it and you explained that as to how. How did that become something that you decided you really wanted to get into at that level?
Because like I stated earlier, like I wanted to give awareness to people like me. Like growing up, wine wasn't something that we knew about. And I just wanted, to be that person to like, okay, she's doing that. And especially for women, like I'm all, for it to where like, oh, she's doing this and stepping into a lane that's not, really for us, then, I can do it too. So I just want to, just lead by example and, just break down barriers and doors and stuff like that. So
that was the intention from the very beginning, because I was watching, and you may have seen it as well. I was watching, the J.R. Smith, episode of I Am Athlete. And it's recent. It was only like 3 or 4 days ago, and it was awesome because he was talking about how a lot of the things in our culture we just have skewed. And I don't blame any of us. I don't blame any of wealthy or unwealthy or poor black people or African American people. It's just it's not the conditioning we were brought into. And for me, I've had the circumstantial challenge of experiencing these things. I think being a young African American man who's done fairly well, and I've gotten in some circles of very high caliber people. I've got the opportunity to go to very nice golf clubs, very nice country clubs. I've got the opportunity to buy relatively nice cars, and I've seen the public reaction of things, and I've seen how that's discouraging to the next generation, or even in some cases my generation. I've got a mentor named Santiago, and he's got a membership to the Grapevine Country Club, and he took us out, and we're out there, and I don't mean this in a negative connotation, but I'm probably the only African American on this golf course, and we're talking about a very large golf course, and people are giving me a little bit of stink eye, right? And I get it. I'm used to it. I'm not going to play that card, but it's inspiring to get to a point where I'm like, I want to unlock this for us. Like I want to show the next. I want to show the young people. And I'm still young. We're still young, but it's possible. And I'm glad you brought that up. Recently I'm in a group called Biz Owners Ed. It's an awesome group. Great. It's a nonprofit foundation of people who have done it extremely well in the business world and are now teaching it. There's a young man in there, and I'm sure he's going to watch this. There's a young man in there who, he asks me a lot of questions because he wants to be successful. And I see a lot of myself in him. And a true story, man. I don't know if he is going to remember this, but I was parking my car, and I get out, and, I want to impress. So I'm wearing, khaki pants. I'm wearing a blue blazer, blue sports coat, and a white button-up, right, which is like the corporate America outfit, right? Mm-hmm. And I hop out my car, and he's wearing the exact same outfit. Same outfit. Looks like he could be my younger brother. And I already noticed, like, oh, look at that. That's pretty cool, right? And then he walks up to me, and he's like, hey, he starts asking me some questions. And I said, hey, how old are you? And he said, hey, I'm 20. And I said, I want to commend you for even being here. Because quite frankly, I thought I was going to be the youngest person there. I thought my drive to win was going to be unmatched. And then I saw someone younger than me trying, and it was inspiring. It was extreme. It was more inspiring than any amount of money can give me, any amount of success, any amount of accolades. It was like, hey, listen, I'll run through a brick wall for the drive to win, but I will build a brick wall and then run for it for you. Like, I appreciate you looking at me and saying, like, I want to follow that, and I want you to be better than me. So I completely understand kind of where that train of thought comes from and how that can push you to do things that are probably against all odds. Because we're going to get into this, but you're doing things, you're creating this channel, you're creating a brand, you're building your brand, all while working a full-time job. And that's going to be very, one, underestimated, but two, it should also show a lot of people you're not handicapped, right? If you have a full-time position in any world, in any business, you can still chase your dreams, and you can be strategic about it. Mm-hmm. So you get into wine, you go, hey, I want to really squeeze this lemon dry. I want to start to do this. How does it start? Where do you start, right? Like, let's go back to that point. I just started drinking wine. I'm into it. I'm liking it. Where does the idea come from? Where's the starting point?
My level of creativity it's unmatched. So I'm always like, this idea, that idea. But like I stated earlier about doing the wine rates on my Instagram, that's where it started. It was just something like, it was a hobby, And then, like I said, I kind of just wanted to go further with it.
Well, talk to me about that first. So
the wine rates.
Yeah, talk to me about that. So at this point, and let's be candid, let's be raw, let's have a bar conversation. Mm-hmm. At this point, do you have a brand, or are you just kind of doing ratings? Like, is it just
doing ratings?
Okay, so you're doing ratings. And you did that just out of mere fun. You're like, hey, it's something I want to do.
Yeah. No, really just, background of just huge knowledge of wine. It's just like, oh, I drink it. Some of my followers drink it. Like, why not just give them some type of knowledge about it? How long into your pursuit of being interested in wine is this? This was like probably like about a year or two.
Okay, so you've been drinking for a year or so, and now you're starting to do these ratings. Is there structure behind this, or you're just kind of grabbing bottles when you're at the store?
At first, like for me personally, I only had one one type of wine that I drank, and it was the Cabernet Sauvignon. Everybody knows I'm a Cab girl, but I caught myself. I was like, I'm only talking about Cabernets. And I'm like, okay, now I got to kind of venture off into different ones, and that right there kind of did tap into where like, oh, I got to get really into this. Like I wanted to, because it was like so much more you can learn about wine. It wasn't just one type of thing. Like I know with alcohol is probably like it's just one, as far as what like tequila and stuff. Like with wine, is so much there is to it, and so that was like really another reason why I kind of got into it as well. So.
Okay, just the excitement of how much there is.
Yeah.
And I was at a true story. I was at a it was like I don't know what you call it. It's like a wine class, and it had one of these. Yeah, it was like one of those dudes who has like the certification. I can't remember the name.
He's a somm.
Yeah, a somm, one of those guys, right? And we're in the Renaissance Tower, right? It's a pretty awesome experience. I'll be candid. I probably messed up because I was at the bar before that, so I was already a little tipsy. And I showed up late, and I'm never really late, but I'm late. And they were on the third glass. So I go to the guy, and the guy comes, and he's like, hey, you've missed 2 glasses. What do you want me to do? I was like, just bring all 3 of them, right? And I just boom, boom, boom. And then, I kind of looked at this girl, right? And she was there with her mom, and trying to catch up to what he's teaching, right? He's teaching.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of feeling myself, right? Because I was at the bar before, and then I just knocked back these 3 glasses, and I killed the glass that he's now talking about. Mm-hmm. So I look over, and they're all swigging it, and they got the little apple that he brought out to pair it. Mm-hmm. And there was 2 thoughts that went through my head. Number one was like, I have no idea what's going on. Like I have no idea what he's talking about. I can't hear him. And then that brought me to the second thought of, oh, I'm drunk. I'm drunk. So the next 45 minutes of my life was another 5 glasses, all with a pairing of food. I learned absolutely nothing. I still know absolutely nothing about wine. But what I do know is there is a lot to this, because he was like, if it comes from California, it tastes like this.
Yes.
If it comes from here, it tastes like. And he was like both of them.
You can have the same wine, and if it comes from different regions, it's gonna taste different. Like that should let you know right there. Like it's so much.
There's so much. And it could be the same thing, and then you take into account how much difference there is. Mm-hmm. So for me with the wine game where I'm at now, I'm trying to learn. And I've got a wine bar, and I've got I think 8 bottles over there. But I'll just be super raw, right? There's a discount at Tom Thumb. If you get 6, I think you get like 30% off. And, I just walk through and I look at whatever bottles look the coolest. And I'm like, oh, this is a cool looking bottle. And I just grab it. And, if it hits, it hits.
Somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. I think the problem I have is as I'm drinking them, I'm not taking any notes or I'm not even remembering them. Like if there's one that's really good, I won't remember which one was really good. And then there's a point, and I think this is anything new. There's a point where you kind of get really demotivated. You're kind of like, man, maybe this is just something I can't learn, And I think that comes off in a lot of different aspects of life. So my question to you: how long did it take for you to really get a good feel? And obviously you're still learning, right? We're all learning everything.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
But how long until you got a good feel that, okay, at least I got a basis of what the heck's going on?
God, that's a good question. I'm on year 3, 4-ish. Really after 2 years, and I'm still learning. I really didn't want to bring this up, but I'm pretty sure you're not familiar with it, but it's 3 levels with wine that you get your certifications with. Right now, I'm a student for one of the wine academies that's in Las Vegas. I'm taking the course, and I'm pursuing level 1. So
and you failed.
Hi! I ain't got my results back yet.
I mean, you said I didn't want to bring it up. I figured
no,
it was
because
bad news.
I wanted to share the results with my entire Instagram, with my followers.
And you didn't want to tell me in case you failed.
Yeah, so now when you air this, everybody's gonna fucking know
that
I took the test.
And then when you don't post it, they're gonna be like, "Dang, she must have failed."
No.
So when are you projected to get your results?
I take 6 weeks. It was a proctor exam. I didn't get the chance to actually take the class in class, I had to do the online one, and I really wanted to get the experience and go to Las Vegas and do it, but it was full. So I did the online portion, and like I said, a proctor exam. They had to do the recording. So for them to go over all that, like it takes 6 weeks. That's what they said. So
wow,
yeah.
wow. So this is how you become a ensemble.
Oh my God, just a somm.
That's how you become that?
Sommelier. Yeah, just say somm for short.
Sommelier. Is that what it's? Sommelier?
No.
What is it?
It depends on where you're from. Like, you have that accent with it. So it's no really right or wrong way to say it. Don't say it like that. But for you, somm. But
okay.
yeah.
All right.
And that it costs, like I think level 3 is like $1,000, so just take that stuff, and then like, you don't want to just take a test and just fail that type of shit. But
yeah, no, but the return that I notice is I think once you become a somm, right, you can start charging people for these events.
You can talk your shit and you can charge people, but the average person becoming a somm is like roughly 3 to 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But you're saying at about the 2-year mark, you've got a good feel for things. You kind of understand. At least the gist of it,
I'm comfortable.
Right?
Yeah, I'm comfortable, but that is until I step into a room full of people who
been
are
doing it for longer.
Really, for longer than me.
Yeah, hey, there's levels to everything, right? Yeah. Like I could run game in my local LA Fitness, but you show up to an NBA training camp and you humbled fast. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You walk in and you think you're the man, then you see like 360 windmill dunks, and you're like, yo. I left my shoes at home.
Maybe I'm not so good at this.
Yeah, let me. I forgot something at the crib, man. Let me get out of here. So I get that. All right. So you're doing your reviews, and I think it turned into obviously a little more structure came into play because I remember that it turned into a point where you were having people send you wines, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where did that come from? It just you wanted to do more. You wanted to expand your horizon, or what?
I mean, it was recommended. Like I get crazy amounts of DMs, like What's a good wine to get? Actually, it used to like aggravate me so much. People just like, what's a good wine I should get? And I'm just like, you have no idea how to just go about this, though, right? So you just have to know like what you want red, you want white, you want something full body, light body. You want to pair it with something. Like you can't just come and give me a fake question, and I can't really do anything with that. But I do get a lot of DMs asking like, what's a good wine to get, or I got this wine, what do you think about it? So people do recommend me to try this, and I don't care who it is. It can be somebody who's starting off first day, like, oh, I want to decide to drink wine, or somebody who's been doing it for a long time, like, what do you think about this wine? Like, I don't care. So I try it. If it's something that I've never had, I, actually let them know, give my feedback to them as well. So
okay. So and then from that, obviously, you're doing the wine tasting. You're starting to get some people reaching out to you, starting to ask you the right questions, and they're kind of DMing you on Instagram because at this point your platform is on Instagram. You're doing the reviews on Instagram, right?
Yes, ma'am. You
check all your DMs?
No. Well, it's not my fault because like the way Instagram is set up, like they have like hidden messages and stuff. So I don't know when somebody's messaging me if, I don't know how this stuff works. So if I don't see it, I don't see it. Like I don't even check my phones that much. So I know I'm not checking my social media. I don't even get notifications coming to my phone. Like I have it turned off purposely because I don't really, actually I don't even like social media. If it wasn't for what I do, I wouldn't even have social media.
Why?
For me, that's a long story. Yeah, well, I don't like social media. So.
Why?
God, I just don't like it. Like I just prefer not to deal with it.
Okay, so if you look something up on Wikipedia, that could be 2-3 pages, right? Mm-hmm. But there is always the first paragraph where it just sums up all that. There's one paragraph.
A summary?
Yeah. Why? Listen, here's the reason I ask. Not to just pick or pry at you, but a big concept of what we're doing here is not only to learn the actions and the steps that you take, but what makes you tick. Mm-hmm. What the thing that everyone wishes they can have of the most successful people. I don't want Elon Musk's life. I want his mind. I want his brain. And the only way I can even get close to it is if I ask the right questions and pay attention to the answers. Mm-hmm. I want to know how you tick. I want to know how you think. I want to know why you feel this way about this thing. When you say, I'm not interested in social media, Why? Like, why not? What about it is it turns you off? What is your reasoning?
It's too accessible. Like, I don't like that. You know, I mean, it's not reality. Like, you know, it's not real for most people. You can be anybody who who you want to be. So I just don't really care for it.
Okay. So you're kind of just utilizing the platform for what it is, and that's an avenue for you to reach people and to do what you're interested in, your passion at this point.
Yes.
So you're doing the reviews. How, you know, at this point, when you're doing this, in your mind, again, take me back to that moment. In your mind, have you decided? Is it already in the plan that you're trying to create a brand from this that you're gonna make it bigger? Or you're just kind of doing it because it's fun?
No, I didn't know. I was just doing it because it was fun.
Okay.
Like, you know, like I was interested in it for sure. You know, I love wine, but I didn't think what I'm doing now. Like I was gonna be doing it at the time. No.
Okay, so how does that change? What is that thing that flips that switch?
I'm always wanting to do more. Like me, I have to be doing more. So I just feel like that's that. So it has to be another level I'm trying to get at with this. And then that's when I brought the YouTube channel into play.
Okay.
You know.
So let me ask you, do you have counsel or these decisions that you're making internally? You know, again, we're going to learn from the steps you've taken, but also why you took those steps. Mm-hmm. So at this point, you've found a passion. Mm-hmm. And most people, I think, have found their passion. And if they haven't, at some point in their life, they will find it. I don't know if they're going to do anything with it or turn it into a career or if they're even going to attack it. But most people at some point in life will find something they're passionate about. So you've got a passion. You then find a hobby in it, and you turn it into a hobby. And then the idea comes up to then turn it into a channel and to create a platform. Is this a decision you made internally? Do you have counsel? Are there people you talk to? Are there people in your life who influence the things you do?
Yeah, I do. My brother, he is the last person I talk to about everything. Every decision I do make, I do get his, you know, not so much approval, you know, because I'll hear you out, but I'm probably going to do the opposite of what you say. So that's how I am. But I do. My brother, he's pretty much, that's who I go to. He's a life coach, you know, so he really.
For a living.
Yeah. He's an entrepreneur too as well. So yeah, like.
Okay. So you go to him and you're like, hey, I think I want to create a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And the YouTube channel is for the concept at this time is, hey, we're going to do the reviews on the YouTube channel. Not
so much the review. No. The reviews were the reviews. The YouTube channel was to pretty much bring in the wine. I mean, yeah, so much you can do the reviews, but it was to sit down and talk to people from different backgrounds. Like on my YouTube channel, I do have, you know, people that are chefs, athletes, people who are just have, you know, a regular career, you know. So it was just ranging from that, you know, different, you know, job descriptions. And I did want to just, you know, bring wine in with it. So that was the thing. It wasn't just really so much just wine. Right?
So even in the beginning, the origin was not to center the channel around YouTube. It was just to have, it was not to center the channel around wine. It was just to have wine in the channel.
Yeah, and discuss it as well, because for everything that I do, wine is going to be somewhere involved in it.
Part of it, yeah. Okay. So you decide at this point, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I want to be able to sit down with people, talk to them, have open forum conversations, and then, you know, talk about wine, drink wine on the show, right?
Yeah, I want people, and it's not just someone sitting down talking to people, like people who want to probably get into that field that they do, give them an insight on what it is to be a chef, what it is to be an athlete, what it is to be a person that does podcasts, like whatever that they're doing. So it wasn't just all about, you know, just sitting down talking.
Okay, so at that point you decided this. In that moment, are you still working the same job that you're working now?
Yes.
How much fear came into your mind of this is going to take a lot of my life, commitment, time, energy? Not now. Talk to me about then, during the process of the decision.
I didn't think about my job. Like, I knew it was going to, like, work out regardless. Like, I know me. Like, so I was going to make it work. You know, I knew I couldn't 9 to 5 an entrepreneur. So I knew I had to be, you know, hands in, all in. So it was going to work out. I was going to make it work. So.
Let me ask you, what about you? Because we don't, you know, not everybody knows you and your mentality and what's inside of your head. Mm-hmm. What is it about you that gave you so much assurance it's going to work? Like, what is it that is your innate mentality that told you it's going to work? Like, what about you is that? Because a lot of people may have, I don't know you. I mean, I know you, but I don't know what your answer is, right? The way I tick is different than the way you tick. I see things different than you see it. I approach the game of life different than you approach it, right? We all do.
Yeah.
But what I've found, especially as of recent, is a lot of the things that I possess and a lot of the things that I pulled out to be able to perform are things that other people have that lie dormant. They sit there and they don't realize how powerful it is. And sometimes I go, well, this is how I approach the game and this is the reasons why. And they go, oh, I think I feel that too. I'm like, well, then you could do this too. And they're like, oh, I never knew that. So when you can say, listen, I'm going to do this. I know I've got an entire full-time career, but I'm still going to do this and it's not going to fail because I know me. What do you know about yourself that tells you that?
I'm really, really disciplined. And I'm big on that word. And I knew because I'm disciplined that it was going to work. Like, discipline creates opportunity. Discipline, it taps into the ultimate power of commitment. So I knew I was going to be committed to that. And I knew with my, disciplinary, like, I was going to make it work.
If you had to describe discipline in one sentence, what would you say?
Just commitment, pretty much. I don't know.
So the reason I ask that is, right, a lot of people know what discipline is, but I think discipline is so skewed and it's so broad in our society that everyone's outlook and perception of it is different. If I had to answer that, when I was in high school and I was going to I went to 3 different high schools, but I was going to one of the high schools and I had a coach. His name was Coach Ullman, and he was the backup coach for Vince Young at UT. And he taught me this, and he said that this was something that they talked about in UT, right? And it was, you're talking about high-level success. You're talking about Rose Bowl, Vince Young. Yeah. And he said, we had it painted in the locker room. Discipline is what you do when no one is looking. And obviously discipline has a large-scale description. Yeah. It's your ability to adapt, and hold standards of yourself. It's your ability to do things. But if I had to put it in one sentence, it's what you do when absolutely no one's looking. Because the reality is, whatever you do, right? Let's say, for example, let's just use one of my businesses, for example. Let's say I'm a roofing salesperson, and I'm in the field, and I'm outdoor knocking, and I'm talking to customers. Well, when one of the leaders is out, or one of the owners is out, or one of the managers is out, I'm going to be on point because I want to impress. My shirt's going to be tucked in. I'm going to say things right. I'm going to be very professional. I'm not going to lack. I'm not going to slack. I'm going to give everything I got. But what do you do when no one is there? What do you do if you're out in the neighborhood and you're door knocking by yourself? How strong are you? How steadfast are you? When you're tired, do you keep pushing as if someone was watching, or do you go, man, I'm going home? When you're all alone in your kitchen and you're supposed to be eating healthy, but nobody's there. Nobody's going to notice if you DoorDash to McDonald's. Exactly. That's how I really look at discipline. What do you do when absolutely no one is looking? When there's no cameras on you, when there's no friends around, when you could do anything in the world that you want, and you won't have any downside except for the ultimate result, obviously. That's how I approach the concept of discipline. So you feel your discipline was strong enough that you knew you could make it. And I really firmly believe in this world, the number one attribute that you can possess to derive success is discipline. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. There are a lot of things that will give you a head start. Charisma, confidence, an awesome personality, education, intelligence. Those things will give you a good bump. But man, you can't get nowhere without discipline. Mm-hmm. Everything will fluster and fail away. So where did you get that? Where did you get your discipline? Have you always had it? Were you born with it? Did someone give it to you? Did someone teach it to you?
I was an athlete. So I think having coaches, doing certain things like.
Yeah, I heard you were on the ping pong team.
Oh, God. No, I was not ping pong. Basketball, track, for me. Actually, I played every sport except football. I tried. But yeah, I think being an athlete pretty much created that, disciplinary for me. Like, I had to do such and such in order to be at a certain level. Like I was a freshman playing varsity. We won a championship, me being a freshman. So there's no way I would have got to that if I wasn't, disciplined to even come in as that type of kid and get to where, they ended. So I think it definitely played a big role with that. And I've been an athlete since I was a kid. So
yeah, and I firmly believe competitiveness is so necessary in the business world. I'm not saying you are automatically going to win if you're competitive, but you're definitely going to have a better shot because, man, this world is tough. This world is tough. And there are things that you've got to be able to swallow. Like, number one, no one is coming to save the day. No one is coming. No one is coming. And in competitive sports, you learn that very fast. You learn you've got to perform, period, point blank. Secondly, I think one of the greatest lessons you learn in competitive sports is two, you're always on the block. Always. I don't care who you are. If you're not playing well, someone wants your job. Someone will always want your job. And there is no such thing as complacency in competitive sports. There's not. There's not, man. You could be Steph Curry, everyone can, like, perfect example, right? Carmelo Anthony is the freaking Carmelo Anthony. The Carmelo Anthony. But, he had a tough run in Oklahoma, and he had a tough run in Houston, and nobody wanted to give him a job. Cam Newton, who I love to death, is a freaking NFL MVP. And they're not giving him an opportunity because he had a bad stint. And what I love, and I love Cam Newton to death, I love how he responds. Don't feel sorry for me. Like, I understand how this works. I understand the concept of this. That's something I think is really hard, and everyone will learn at some point. But sports teaches it to you early. It teaches it to you before you ever make the real mistakes in the real world. Like, you learn very early, listen, dude, if I'm not performing, someone wants my job. Someone is there. Someone is waiting in the wind. And that gives you that drive every morning that I got to go get it. I got to get out my butt. I can't rest. That competitive nature is something that you really can't shake, right? Like, it goes with you forever, huh?
Yeah.
So you attribute a lot of that to kind of how you move now, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so at this point, you've been in sports, you have your competitive drive, you have your discipline, and that kind of gave you a surety that this is going to work no matter what. And that gave you confidence to take a swing at the bat, right? Okay, so then what? What's the next step?
Okay, so what we left off.
So at this point, you just decided you're going to start the YouTube channel.
Okay, so yeah, I got into that, and I feel like there's more. Like, I got to do more. Like, I want to, brand myself. I want to, make this, bigger than what it is. And that's when I actually created a brand, wine apparel, so much of a lifestyle, and
okay, time out. I want to get into that, but time out. Slow down. Okay, so check me out, right? Okay. Because you're rolling fast, and I know it happened fast.
No, nothing happens. It was, time.
Well, this is my question. The steps you took, right? You went from reviews to starting the YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel has a brand itself called Wine Chips. And then you started a clothing line, which we're going to get into. Give me a sec. Are all these pre-planned moves? Did you write all this down and say, this is how I'm going to do this? Or
I wrote it down. Yeah.
In the very, very, very beginning?
Not the very beginning. No. Of course, I knew at some point, it was going to be something different, but I didn't write wine ratings, wine chips, then a brand. Like I said, my creativity, game is crazy. So, I just, come up with things, and, I plan for it, properly. You can really never plan for anything. Just, you just got to go through the whole process. But yeah, I wrote it down. I gave myself amount of time to, do it in, and, like at this.
So at what point did you know you decided you were going to start a brand itself and then start clothing? Was that before the YouTube or during YouTube?
I think it was before. I knew it was like I wanted to have something that where people just kind of they can just pretty much not wear me or whatever, but just a brand. I wanted to brand it. So it was before the YouTube channel, of course. I just didn't know how.
But it was all in mind.
Yeah. It was
and then it was just a matter of how can I execute?
Yes.
Okay. So at this point, you've got the idea. Listen, this is how I want to do it. These are the steps I want to take. Still no fear at all.
for me, the worst thing that's gonna happen is it don't work. But I'm just finding another way for it to work.
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't care about it not
Well,
working.
let me ask you an honest question. I need you to be, again, we got to be super honest here. This is the concept of what we do here.
Okay.
Do you realize most people don't think that way?
No, and that's what I'm here for.
Like, let me give you some honest stuff. Most people think that's not going to work. I don't want to try it, or that's risky. I don't want to put myself out there. The average, like again, I'm not like that personally, right? But the masses, the average Joe, the John next door, they don't want to do things that are risky. They want sure bets. And if I, like you said, it's going to work, and we said why, and you said because I have discipline. Listen, mentally, and I'm the same. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I know everything I do is going to work, not because I'm the best thing since sliced bread, but because I'm relentless. I'm relentless, man. I'm just going to be candid with you. I may drop 3 seasons with 200 views. I'm still going to keep dropping these boys. Eventually, you're going to find me, man.
Right.
Eventually, you are going to find me. And that's my mentality. But most people don't think that way. And the reason I really want to ask you is because there's a certain point where risk becomes financial, right? And, starting a YouTube channel may cost you some money, depending on, how much money you want to put into your stuff. But rolling out a clothing line, that's financial risk. That's a different level of risk. Now we're not talking about time, sweat, equity. We're talking about money. And that's way larger. So before I even get over there, before I even walk in that room, I have to ask you, do you realize that most people, they don't do that? They go, man, I don't know if this is going to work. And they sit on it for so long, and they're complacent, and they're scared. And if they don't have, and that's why I asked you if you have counsel, because I know people who have phenomenal ideas. And I go, when are you going to do it? And they're like, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And they're just waiting on everyone in their life to give them affirmation. Like, yeah, try it. But you were at the point where you said very directly, like, I don't care if I had support. I was going to do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's not normal. Do you consciously understand that's not normal?
Right. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm just fearless and, I just, do all this. It comes with what I've been through. It's just not, oh, she's doing it because, like, she's, I don't care. No, it's not that I don't care. It's just, like, I've faced adversity so much. So for me to be where I'm at now, like, it's because of where I came from, so that's.
So like, and I talked about this recently with some group of guys. When I was talking about this challenge I'm doing pretty soon, which, looking at my weight, I'm kind of scared, but I'm gonna do it, man. I think when you have what I call notches in the belt, when you have been through things that are difficult, when you have overcome levels of adversity, when you face things that may be challenging, but they don't compare to what you've already done, you're like, this is nothing. This even though it may be a real and legitimate concern, roadblock, challenge, you're like, but this is nothing in comparison to what I did. I've already overcome a mountain much larger than this. This is nothing. If you've climbed K2 and then someone is like, yo, let's go climb this half-size mountain, and they're scared, you're like, dude, this is nothing, bro. I've climbed K2. And one of the things that I'm a huge advocate for is you've got to get notches under your belt. You've got to go do some extremely challenging things, win or loss, win or lose. If you fail, whatever. But you've got to attempt to do things that give you that notch that makes you go, okay, now I can go back and do anything. And sometimes those things face you unintentionally. Sometimes adversity comes whether you want it or not. Sometimes it comes knocking at your door. So my question to you is, you talk about, hey, I had a lot of confidence that I'd be able to do this because I have faced adversity and I've overcome different things. Were those things that you intentionally sought, or were they things that just kind of happened in life?
Both.
Okay.
Sure.
Give us a little bit. Come on now.
Okay. For example, I will give my senior year in college. I wasn't even supposed to graduate. My last semester, was spring 2018. I got hit with so much. we were in January, February, I want to say. So right at the beginning of the semester. Supposed to graduate in May. Just lost my job. My boyfriend just broke up with me. I mean, this might be a little stuff to some people at the time. It was big for me. You know, I'm a kid, so I don't know what to do. I'm away from my parents, friends, whatever. But just lost my job.
You went to college in Maine, right?
In Maine. I didn't
Yeah.
go to Maine. Louisiana.
I'm just messing with you.
No, so yeah, I lost my job, boyfriend, you know, broke up with me, all that. And on top of that, I just found out that I was in stage 2 of cervix cancer.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, I did not know that.
Nope, nobody knew. Nobody knew. And I was like, what, well, you know.
All this happened in a short period of time?
Yes, all in like a month.
Wow.
Like it was just like it just wasn't going right, and I'm just like, okay. And I got through it, and of course, you know, I graduated, you know. But I look at things like that, I'm like, I got through all that, and then I had that surgery for it. So I had my surgery, you know, pre-cancer cells, they were removed, and you know, I was, you know, back to normal. But
Wait, you're completely clear now?
yeah. I had to have a procedure that was called LEAP, where they go and remove the cells with, you know, laser. So
you at a point in your life you had cancer, now you do not?
No, yeah, I don't have cancer no more.
Come on now.
And it's crazy. Like I'm so hard on myself that I don't even give myself credit. You know,
That's incredible, and more importantly, that's inspiring. I'll be honest. I did not know that about you, and
these things I don't even talk about.
And then
you know?
decided to do it on camera.
You got me. You got me.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody has a story.
100%.
You know, I'm not sitting here saying mine's more important than anybody, mine's more, less than anyone's. But once I get to where I'm going, I know why I'm here. So, and that's all that matters for me.
Okay. So you have, wow. Let me just
just take that in.
Yeah,
I know. Like that was like, what? I know.
Sheesh. Okay. All right. So the reality is you have faced challenges that are K2, and now signing up to climb a hill is like, come on now, I got this.
Yeah.
I could even if I fail, whatever, man. It's cool. Like I've climbed K2, man. Come on now. Okay, so you and now it makes a lot of sense why you see things the way you see it. But I also need you to kind of take for a moment and realize, before we knew that, it's kind of like, why does she think she could do everything?
Yeah.
But now it makes sense. Now I get it. And I was talking to a young man that I do my best to try and mentor. His name is Jesse, and he battles a lot. He's battled a lot throughout his life and a lot of challenges and woes. And I told him, and I've said this, and again, I'm not some guru, right? All I do is pass information that comes to me. People tell me stuff, and then I tell other people, and I'm like, "Ooh, Kevin's so wise," and I'm like, "Nah, man, that dude told me." You know what I'm saying? But I told him what was told to me, and it was like, Kevin, if you can overcome this, one day you can teach this, and who cares what happens to you? You can inspire other people. You can, the way it was described to me, I'll use it verbatim. He said, Kevin, your deepest trenches are going to be challenges that other people face. Maybe not in the exact same specifics, but they will go through similar things. And if you can beat it and come out of it better and stronger, you will gain a power. You will gain a superpower, he described, that other people cannot have. For example, I don't care how great I become in life. I will never be able to stand in a room of people battling cancer and give them a surety and confidence that they can get through this. I can't. I can't go in there and hoorah, ha, ha, I can't. It's not a room of people I have power over. While people who have been there, if you beat that and then come out of it stronger and then use it, take that lesson, that experience, that notch under the belt, as I refer to it, and use it to fuel you to better your life and better yourself and become more successful in whatever it is you want to do, you can now stand in a room of people, metaphorically or literally, and say things that I don't have that power, and I will never have that power, ever. And when I learned that lesson, I looked at adversity as a blessing. Like the darkest and deepest and most hard things you are ever going to experience. And everyone in life has a story. Everyone. You have a superpower, but only, and I mean only with a capital O, if you overcome it. You can't succumb to it. You can't become victim of it. Because if you do, you're just another face in that room waiting for a superhero. You're just another one of those people sitting in the chair waiting on someone to come give that speech, metaphorically, and sometimes literally. So the fact that you can take it and you can beat it and you can use it, which is exactly what you're doing, you're using it. You're saying, I've climbed K2, I can do more now. That's powerful. That's so powerful. And I want to really convey very clearly, if you're going through something, keep going. Like, keep going, man. You know, there's a saying, I think Steve Harvey said it.
Yeah, if you're going through hell,
don't stop. Don't stop,
Yes.
man.
Who wants to stop in hell?
Come on now. So, okay, so at this point now you know, back to, you know, kind of the timeline. You've got, are you still doing the reviews at this point in the story? At this point in the story,
Yeah, the reviews is very ongoing. I've never stopped that. Actually, I'm gonna do a review, you know, this coming week, you know, off what we're gonna talk about.
is this new or is this something that you've had? Well, we're gonna get into this in a second, but is this new or is it something you've been drinking?
I've had the Pinot Noir one. This is the flavor, the Petite Syrah. This is my first time trying it.
Syrah. This is good, man. I don't, you know, I'm
You haven't even been drinking it, like. Oh God! All right,
Petite
that's
Syrah.
not gonna make it.
Petite Syrah.
But yeah, this is the first one.
This is good, man. My grandmother's gonna be so mad that I did that. She calls me so.
I'm mad that you did it.
I have counsel, right? I talk about me. I have counsel. I get counsel. There are a lot of things that I do because I'm arrogant and I'm just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. But I do get backdoor counsel. I call people and I go, you know, we were talking earlier, and we're going to get in a lot of this. She has, you know, her YouTube channel, and she was telling us how she doesn't watch her episodes. She just doesn't. And I get that. A lot of people don't watch her episodes because they just want to kind of be real and be raw. I'm not that way. I'm very critical. I've watched every episode we've dropped at least 3 times each. And I don't just watch them because I like to hear myself speak as much as I kind of do. I watch them and I critique them. I take notes and I go, man, I didn't like how I did that. I didn't like how I did this. I want to do this better. So I call my grandmother after every episode and I go, what'd you think? Like, give me some feedback, right? Because she's, you know, anyone who knows me knows that's the most important person on this earth to me right now. You know, ever since I lost Terrence, you know, they were kind of competing, but ever since I lost Terrence, there's no, it's her and then it's me and then it's everyone else, right? You know, it's probably her, me, then Cookie and then Muffin and then everyone else, right? Like, y'all aren't even in the same ballpark. And I call her and
Those
she's
his cats, by the way.
Man, you know, look. So I call her. I'm like, hey, what do you think? And she's like, hey, and she's gonna see this. She's got her notifications on, right? If you ain't got your notifications, I'll put your notifications on. And she tells me, man, I love it, but I don't like that you guys drink. She says that, right? She's old school, man. She's old school, you know. She's been around the block, but
Peer pressure.
No. She just, you know, and I tell her, I try and convey to her, listen, it's supposed to be an open forum chat. It's not supposed to be corporate America, yada, yada, yada. She's going to hate me for that one. I want to make sure I give her a quick shout out, man. Okay, so, but this is good. This is very good. So at this point, the reviews are still going. You've got, again, let's just cap where we're at. You've got a full-time job, and for, you know, outside of your entrepreneurship and your wine, what do you do? What is your job? What is it? You wash cars?
I wash cars?
Yeah.
Oh, like what is that like for my job? What I do? Oh, I'm a recruiter for my company.
Okay.
Yes. That's my 9 to 5, you know, salary pay, whatever you want to call it, type job. That's
You're a recruiter.
Recruiter, yes.
Okay, cool, sweet.
Yes.
So
it's not like it's a demanding job. Like I have my office where I'm pretty much in there, and I actually like I'm there working for them, but I'm also working for me too. So
come on now, don't snitch on yourself.
they don't care. I mean, I'm very, you know, I'm an asset, so.
Okay. All right. She brings wine to work. That's what she's saying. She gives stuff out for free. She looked like one of them goodie bag people,
Oh,
man. Okay, so you're in the job. You've got your job. You've obviously got the YouTube channel going. You've got the reviews happening. And a lot of this is probably organic because you're passionate about it, right? It doesn't require what I would call sweat equity. It's not like you're having to put forth effort towards it. It's just kind of happening because you enjoy it. I'm not saying it doesn't require work or time. Don't get me twisted. Everything that yields results require work, time, effort, energy. but it's not forceful. It's like you like it. You're actually having fun at it.
Yeah, if you're not enjoying, you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry. My mic's
Yeah, when you get to a level at a point, where like you're enjoying it, then it's not a job anymore. I don't consider what I do a job. So, because I'm passionate about it. So.
Okay, so you obviously have pre-planned that you want to then, roll out a clothing line.
Lifestyle.
What do you call it? Lifestyle?
A lifestyle.
A lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not just one-sided.
Explain the difference to me. What is the difference in a clothing line?
You can have just nothing but apparel. I don't want to. I'm not having apparel. I'm lifestyle. So it's going to be outside of apparel, like wine glasses. Tumblers, aprons, like everything. Is associated with wine, but just not just clothes. So.
Okay, so. But in that, again, give me the concept. Are you pre-planning the steps you're going to take?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure,
So the first step is clothing?
Yeah, the first step was clothing. So
okay.
Yeah.
So the first step was, have you done more than clothing so far?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Let's start there. So at this point, you're like, hey, I'm going to roll out a lifestyle brand. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how we're going to refer to it. And then the first step of that strategically is the clothing line, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's the name of the lifestyle brand?
The Fowler collection.
The Fowler collection.
Yes.
And I want to look. I probably shouldn't do this because you're going to hate me for it, but I'm going to do it, man. This is my show. Look, man. She showed me her logo early.
Oh my god. Okay.
She shows me her logo early, and I'm like, remove the circle. Take out the circle. She's like, nah, I like the circle. I'm like, no. Like, take out the circle. It would look better without the circle. And she's like, no. And then, like, it was like a few weeks later.
Yeah, he told me, he was like. Of course, I asked for his opinion because I take what he say, very, seriously. Like I listen, but like I said earlier, I'm hard-headed. I'm gonna do the complete opposite of what someone tells me to do. And when he told me that, I know he was expecting me to not even listen to him. And then a couple weeks later, I finally post the logo.
Let me tell you my perspective. So she shows it to me, and I'm like, she's like, what do you think? I'm like, it looks good, but you need to take out the circle. Just do this, do that. This is what I think, and I'm explaining it to her, and she's just like looking at me, and I'm like, "You good?" And she's like, "No, that makes sense." I'm like, "So you're gonna take it out?" She's like, "Nah." And then like it's a few weeks later, I'm going through everything, right? And if you guys know me, I'm a very supportive person, right? I support small business, I support people growing, I support entrepreneurship. That's what we're here for. And I see the doggone logo, and there's like the initial thought is like, "Oh, like that's fire." That's the initial thought. Mm-hmm. And then like 0.27 seconds later, I told her to do that, and she said no. And I was mad. I was mad.
Is this you trying to take credit for it?
Not credit. Not credit. I'm not going to take credit, because my adjustment was very minimal. I just said take out the circle. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of like, you could have at least told me you were going to.
Because I knew you were expecting me to not even listen to you.
You could have been like,
shocked myself,
you could have been like, hey, just wanted to let you know I decided to remove the circle.
I was hard on about like my logo. I was so happy. Like, this is the logo that I was really proud of that logo. And when I showed it to you, it's not like he shot me down, but he gave me his honest opinion about it. And I'm just like, damn, I did all this work, and this is what you're gonna tell me that it's ugly, whatever the case was. And I took some pointers, and obviously I guess.
So let me ask you this: in the creative concept, which I believe is necessary for any business entity or organization, you can't just freaking do stuff, man. Think about it, put some time to it, and then do exactly what you did. Is just ask people. Too many people want to do something, create a company, create a brand, create a logo, create an entity. And then they just do it. Yeah. They don't ask anyone, hey, what do you think about this? They don't do none of that counsel. And again, if you're that confident in yourself, cool, man. But I believe you should at least ask some people. And I believe you should ask people more successful than you.
Of course.
In my opinion. When I do things, true story, every single business that I have, every brand that I've created, I've shown it to someone. I'm like, what do you think? When I started Design Roofing, this is a true story, man. It took me 3 or 4 weeks of about 25 renderings of that logo. I went through so many logos, and there were like 3 or 4 of them where I'm showing my mentor and he's like, nah. And there was 3 or 4 of them where I'm like, screw you, man. I'm about to do it anyway.
And that was the same thing with me. Like, it took me like a month to create that logo because the person who did it, she's amazing. And she, gave it her all, and she designed that logo, herself. And it took a minute, and I was like, mad. I was like, why is it taking her so long? Like, just do a logo. But she wanted it to be so right for me.
So what made you decide to settle on what it is now? Was it just a piece that came? Because, again, a lot of people are going to be in that decision-making process, and they're not going to know when is when. Mm-hmm. Was there a piece that settled? Was there just, all right, whatever, I'm just going to keep it moving?
That wasn't even the logo that I came up with. It was ones before that one. Like, it was probably like 2 before that.
But that one itself, how did you settle on that one? What was going through your mind?
When I saw it, I talked to her, and then I gave her, what I was really looking for. I was looking for something luxury. I was looking for something that represented me. I consider myself a Black queen, and I wanted royalty with it. And she just took everything that I said, and she created that. And when I saw it, I was like, this is perfect.
So you felt in that moment, this is it?
This is it, yeah.
Okay. Because, again, a lot of the things that we want to talk to you about is how you built your brand, the things and the steps and the mindset and the concept of how to build a brand. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are going to be in that phase, right? Because I really firmly believe your logo matters. Your logo matters. I remember when I was first getting into entrepreneurship, I was on a conference call with as a branding agency, and they were telling us how, and I think I may have shared this with you, they were telling us how important a logo is to an entity and the growth of an entity. Mm-hmm. And they were sharing with us how there are companies who made the conscious decision to create a logo that would one day, after creating omnipresence, be able to stand on its own. Mm-hmm. As in, for example, every single person watching this show right now, if I showed you the McDonald's M, you know who that is. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to say McDonald's below. Mm-hmm. If I showed you the Nike swoosh, which is on, I think, this side or this side, one of these sides, right? Mm-hmm. If I showed you that, you know who that is. Yeah. It doesn't have to say the word Nike. And there's steps to it, right? There's strategic moves in that. But your logo should be able to stand alone at some point. And that was huge. And I was on this call, and I was listening to people far smarter than me talk about the psychology behind a logo. And I'm like, in my mind, right? I'm trying my best to be a very civilized and educated entrepreneur. But then there was the dog in me, and I'm just like, dog, like, it's just a logo, bro. Right. Like, your logo could be fire and your company could be trash, or your company could be fire and your logo could be trash. Right. Like, but I'm listening to these people talk about how important it is, and they're making it make sense. They're making it make so much sense. I'm like, man, you're right. Like, I do know you could show up with 3 lines on your pants. I know who that is. Mm-hmm. I know who that is. And it really broadened my horizon of my understanding behind branding and logos and so on and so forth. So for me, there's a lot of people who are going to be creating logos, and they're gonna wonder what that feeling of this is it feels like. Mm-hmm. Is it that they're satisfied in their personal mindset? Is it that they're satisfying the concept of what they're trying to create? Is it that they're satisfying, how they're going to touch their audience? In your opinion, how do you know when it's the one?
Oh.
And this could just be an answer pertaining to what you did.
Right.
How did you know yours was the one? How did you know that was the one you were going to roll with? Obviously, I get it. Anytime you have a designer and you explain what you want, I don't care if you're designing a logo, designing a house, you could go, this is what I want, and they create something. How do you know that's it?
I didn't have any more questions. Like I just felt like relieved. Like I didn't have to make any changes or anything. That was just it. Because I was struggling to find a logo. Like, I was really just like, I don't know.
How long did that process take?
I used to be at work, like, trying to make a logo. So it was definitely oh my God. It took a minute. A couple months. Months. Yeah, because I wanted it to be right. And, you wasn't the first person to, for me to ask. Like, you was the first person for me to ask about the one that I have now. But it was, previously ones before that. And I'm just like, what do you think? And some people like, I love this one. And how I am, I completely opposite go what they say, and I didn't choose it. And so, like I said, when my designer, the girl who created it for me, when I, spoke with her, she just brought my my vision to life.
So you kind of settled on it when you felt, this gives me peace. There's no more questions
yeah.
I have. but you felt it. You knew.
Yeah, I just knew. Yeah,
Okay.
you just know.
So then you did that, and then you decide, hey, I'm going to roll out a clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the strategy behind that. How did you go about that? How many different manufacturers did you have to source? Did you go, hey, I'm going to start off with 2-3 things. I'm going to start off with 15 things. I mean, obviously, listen, here's the reality. I can't sit here and dive into all that stuff. That's an entire freaking business.
Mm-hmm.
But give me, a little bit of insight to how you went about it.
Yeah, I was asking people first, that I knew who did do clothing, and like what's the process you go through, like how do you do it, and I was getting insight about it, and I settled on actually having my manufacturers here in Dallas, so I'm able to be hands on. So anybody I feel like who that is creating a business, I mean, everybody's different, but me, I have to be able to be hands on, involved with my products. Like that's just how I am. So I can personally just see them, or I could have went with a website who just do it for me. Like they just whoever orders, they ship it out, do everything for me, and they're like they're the middleman, and I don't have to do anything. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted my customers to be satisfied, so I can see it first and it goes out. But yeah, I found someone here in Dallas, and we've actually grew like a whole, relationship. Like I go to their house sometimes and pick up stuff. Like that's like personally how we've gotten, it's just not, even a business side anymore. So yeah, I found someone who I trust, great quality, of course, that's first and foremost. So yeah.
So when you decided you wanted to do the clothing line, again, I understand the concept of your confidence, and I'm going to call it proven confidence. This is what I was dabbling about earlier. That's a financial risk.
Yeah.
How scary is that one? The other ones have a limited amount of fear, but this is money now. Now you're putting forth a great deal of money to buy this product that you intend to sell. How do you still have that same level of, man, it doesn't matter, I'm going to make this happen, or is there a little bit of fear, or is there no fear at all? What's going through your mind?
I was just so passionate about it. Like I didn't care how much it cost me. Like I was, I just wanted to do it. The amount of money and God knows I put in a lot of it. I didn't care how much because I loved it. And for me, it didn't matter to me.
So the passion made a lot of things easier, right?
Yeah, it did, but of course it was like other things too that, behind the scenes, it just wasn't like just the passion could overcome that, but it was definitely a lot.
So let me ask you this, right? And you don't have to give us specifics because it's your, and if you don't want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, it's okay. When you went into this strategically, did you have a budget, or did you just kind of convey it as it came and then went, okay, this is how I'm going to deal with it? Or did you set, hey, this is how much money I'm going to allocate towards this in my investment? How did you approach it?
No, I didn't have a business plan, I guess. No, I just knew I had to put money in. I didn't have it written down like how much, like a limit a budget that I was going to go with. No, I just knew I just wanted it, to come to life. I actually went to my brother and I was like, can you, invest in my business? He looked at me. He was like, okay, where's your business plan? I didn't even have a business plan.
He asked you for a business plan?
He did. Yes. That's a businessman.
And you told him I didn't have one?
I didn't have one.
What did he say?
No.
Okay.
No. But I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I'll do it on my own. But yeah, there wasn't no like budget for me.
So at this point, right, with your brand, who you're obviously putting forth money for manufacture, and then you're obviously taking profit for sales. Mm-hmm. You're 100% owner of your brand?
Yes.
Okay, so you have no business partners?
No.
How does that feel? Do you think it would have been better to have partners? Do you like not having partners? Because that's a huge question that I get all the time: is should I take on capital? Should I sell equity? Should I bring on teammates? Should I sell to private equity?
I've had, someone ask me, to be business partners, and of course, if I'm the only one, I've turned them down. But in the future, I'm pretty sure that I will. I do want to have a team, people who are around me. I do have people who help me, with certain, things, but in the future I will.
Okay. Question. Now that you know what you know, if you could go back in time, let's just talk the Fowler collection. Let's just talk that entity itself, that brand. If you could go back, what would you have done different, if anything? And again, we're going to dive into the specifics, but at this point, we're at the point of we just created it. Now that you know what you know, going back to the beginning stage of when you created it, what would you have done different?
In what aspect? Like with
in rolling it out, maybe there's nothing. Maybe you're like, nah, I liked how I did it, and I would have kept everything the same.
I mean, right now, I don't think anything I would have done differently. No, I don't think so right now.
Okay, perfect. No, that's the question. If there's nothing. It's okay. Okay, so you find a distribution. You find someone to manufacture your stuff. You then start to create it. Coming out from the very beginning, you're basically saying, "Hey, this is what I want to do. I've got no business plan, and I've got no set investment point. I'm just doing what I want to do." How many things do you initially roll out when you talk about clothing? How many different? What did you start off with? What was the starter plan?
I literally had one like logo design I wanted to do. And it was, I created a wine definition. And I was like, this is my main, target that I wanted to really just get out there. And I started with that one. And then eventually, like, I, had other pieces that came along. So
initially it was one design. How many shirts, how many hoodies, how many jackets, how many pants? Like what?
It was just shirts,
Just shirts initially.
Yeah, it was just long sleeves, short sleeves. That was just it.
But you always knew it was going to grow into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start off with one design, shirts, short sleeves, and long sleeves, right? Initially, how is the traction? Are you getting support? You're not getting support? Is it scary? Are you killing the game? How is it at the early stages?
I knew coming into this game it was going to be like, hustling on a crowded block. But, I mean, it's apparel, everybody's doing it. So I wasn't, scared. So I do have my weeks where, sales are great. And then I know it's going to be weeks where I don't got one sale. So that's part of the game, though. So, but I know eventually, like,
How did you know that, though? How did you already know that?
I've like I said, I did, talk to people who are in the same, lane with that. So, of course, they gave me their insight and what they went through, experience and stuff. So, but I knew wine, my followers, the projection on it, like, not everybody's going to be on the same page with you when it comes to what you do. Like, earlier I was a personal trainer. Everybody was on that train. Like, everybody wanted to be trained, all that. And I knew switching over to wine, like, not everybody's going to follow me. So, it might be, a hit or a miss. So,
but you had already kind of forecasted rocky waters.
I did.
You forecasted it. Okay. So you get into it. You're like, hey, I'm going to start off with this just to get my feet wet. But I know the ultimate goal is to then get multiple lines, multiple things.
Yeah. I just wanted to make that logo, like, that brand a household name. Like, for me, it wasn't even about sales. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But, I just wanted to get that a household name. And that's the goal right now where I'm at.
So talk to me about, and again, a lot of the things I'm going to ask you, we've never talked about, and that's very intentional because I want organic answers. I seen you on the side of a truck, man. Like a whole freaking truck, I seen your brand and your company. How did that happen?
Honestly,
intentionally, circumstantially, did it come across you? Did you seek it?
Marketing. And you want to know who owns that? My brother.
Wow. Shout out brother, man.
Yeah, Dion,
Shout out Dion.
Yeah, so that's his, so, family,
So how did you get that? Did he see it was like he saw, this is legit?
You wanted to be honest, he told me no. He told me don't do it. He did not like it. And I was like, the day that it was, going to happen, he told me. And I was just, and I had on shades, you guys, like, yeah, he's going to see this. I had on some shades and he told me his honest opinion. And I was like tearing up, like, thank God I got those shades on because he was going to see me about to cry. And, like, he just didn't like it. I should have, thought about it more. I should have did this, should have did that. But he said, if I liked it, then I'm going to roll with it or whatever. But for him to be, a businessman, he did give me his input. And I'm just like, honestly, I don't care. Like, roll it. we're going with it. But yeah, at first he didn't want to do it.
What about now? Where's he at now?
With what I'm doing? Oh, he's 100% supportive, but
because now he's seen what you've done.
Yeah, like I said, I always go talk to him about stuff. Now I don't talk to him about everything because he loves to talk. He's a life coach. Like, he's gonna talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of just limited myself.
Yeah, you're not trying to sign up for all them lectures, right?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay, so you're obviously you've created it. You're putting yourself out there. You're looking for these different marketing opportunities. Mm-hmm. How do you know? Honestly, how do you know what to seek? Right? Because here's the thing. What I know is because I know you. But if I don't know you, I don't know all the things it took for you to get to where you're at. Great. But what I know, what I'm going to share, I've seen you on the side of a truck. I've seen you with a table, standing behind a table in events, with your merchandise and talking to people and shaking hands and kissing babies. I've seen you out branding your stuff. I've seen you put in real work to get yourself out there. How did you know how to do that? And then two, how did you establish the ability to do it in the first place? Like, how did you set up, the opportunity to have a table of your brand, of your stuff to be able to talk to people?
Pop-up shops.
Yeah, pop-up shops. Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
That's what it's okay. Called. I mean, I was just trying to get my brand out there, How
did you know those steps? Did somebody tell you that? Did you read a book? How did you know?
I read lots of books. I watch lots of podcasts. That's my thing. I actually have this. I hold myself accountable to where I have to at least watch 3 podcasts a week. So I'm always trying to learn from people. Of course.
How long have you been doing that?
I started last year in maybe October.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you made the commitment, I'm going to watch at least 3 podcasts a week.
Yeah. I just wanted to hear different sides, I don't care who it's from. It can be from entrepreneurs, business, rappers, like everybody. I can take a little piece of something, and, plug it into what I'm doing. But, so it's just, something starting from the bottom, like pop-up shops. I've seen people who are entrepreneurs do that. So I was like, okay, let me try this. Let me try that. But I've went to the extreme.
So talk to me about that one, because I think that's a huge necessary step to get yourself out there and to get your brand out there as an entrepreneur. But I think a lot of people don't do it because they're afraid of, 1, they don't think they can do it, or 2, they don't know how to do it. How did you do it? Did you
pop-up shop?
Yeah, did you pick up a phone and call them? Hey, I want to.
No, they have this you just Google, type in, pop-up shops. And I mean, we live in Dallas, this is a huge, area of opportunity and people are doing things. But as a website or, call Eventbrite, and they just do, straight pop-up shops. And you just, find a vendor and, you contact them and you're like, I want to, put my brand, in the show, can I do that? Also you just pay whatever and you just go from there.
On average, how much does it cost to do that?
Like $50.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like you're paying an arm and a leg. Like, it's really cheap. It's just, you're not guaranteed to get sales though.
You're not guaranteed anything.
No.
That's life.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed jack.
Yeah. So I do my own little things too. Eventually, if Jeff Bezos sees this, he's going to probably know. But have you ever heard of Amazon Flex?
Yeah, no. Amazon Flex?
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me.
So Amazon Flex is it's kind of like DoorDash, Uber Eats, but it's with packages. So I heard about this from a friend, a guy I was working with, and he told me, he does that, for side hustles. They pretty much get packages and they just go deliver them, whatever, make quick money.
For Amazon?
For Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, how many packages do you do? He's like, it just depends on how much time, the block you choose. When I say blocks, it's the hours.
Like a window.
Yeah, like a window. And he was like, on average, like probably the 30, 40 packages. It's like, okay, interesting. So what I did was I have a QR code for my website. Mm-hmm. And I put the QR code on the packages. And, I had Scan Me on it. I had my the wine, so it can attract somebody. 'Cause somebody sees the scan me, like they're like, what the heck is this QR code? So I put wine, like, okay, well, they know it's about wine. And, when you deliver the packages, they will see it. So that's what I did. So that was another way of marketing.
So you put your QR code and Scan Me on all of his packages?
All the packages.
How many packages are we talking?
About 100 a week.
Wow. And you put in the work to do that?
Yes. I printed them out, I glued them on, and I handed them out.
And I'm so happy you're talking about this, because here's the common misconception. People think that most successful businesses or successful brands or successful industries or successful people, they came out with this phenomenal product or service or entity, and it all just worked out. That's the common misconception, right? And I say this, I've talked about it before. I've got phenomenal business partners. My business partners, they pull probably at most times, let me rephrase that, at sometimes more weight than me. They're outstanding people. They're outstanding individuals. But all the time, I'm constantly getting this notion that I just created this company or these companies and they just hit, right? Like, it just hit. And I'm like, you don't realize how much dues that had to be paid to get here. Just because I post on my story my cars or dinner or drinks, you don't realize how much dues I had to pay to do this. When I started, the largest business I have, the one that is my bread and butter, my meat and potatoes on the plate. Our first we talked about it, man. Me and Anthony Almer is one of my business partners. We were talking about it we were at a breakfast joint one time, and he was like, Kev, man, like, would you do this again? And I was like, man, that was a lot. That first 6 months, man, no BS. The first 6 months of that business, we were working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm not saying that in we were sitting in an office 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, we were in the field knocking doors I mean, genuine, legitimate effort, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 months straight, man. We didn't take a single vacation. We didn't take an off day. And we just had to keep reminding each other the thing that we said at day one. And day one, we said, and John Anthony, one of my other business partner, he talks about it all the time. He's like, we know what we signed up for. Because we used to say that. He used to be like, Kev, but, this is an 8 o'clock call. Do you think we should have an 8 o'clock call? And I'm like, John A., we know what we signed up for. And we reference that all the time. Like, when we're tired, he'll call me and be like, Kev, we know what we signed up for. Like, if you need to train us at 8 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, we know what we signed up for. And there are dues that are required that are not seen in the third party broad scale of things. Like, I'll be honest with you, when you're talking about the clothing brand, when you're talking about that industry, the third party perspective is you just made fire clothing and everybody wanted it.
Right.
That's what everybody thinks. Your clothing is solid, so everybody went online and bought it. But you had to pay dues. Mm-hmm. So talk to me about some of those dues. I didn't know that. I didn't know you did that. That's an awesome idea. What else?
Yeah, from the truck, the Premier Mobile billboards. So you guys, if you need marketing, definitely check that out. I did that. Of course, social media, word of mouth, and then, the whole package deal thing that I was doing. So I'm still doing things, trying to figure out. So
true story. Let me ask you a serious question. Then you may not, if you say it, you don't. If you don't know, you give Buddy a little break off for putting logos on his package, or he just helped you out?
Wait, what?
Did you give him any money or what?
Who?
The dude who was delivering all these packages.
No, I do them. I do it.
Oh, you deliver them?
Yeah, I'm getting up 5 o'clock in the morning and taking these blocks.
Oh, so he just told you about it?
Who? Oh, the guy. No. He didn't tell me to do what I'm doing with my
Who's
brand.
delivering the packages?
Me.
You're delivering the packages. Okay, so you're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to deliver these packages.
Yes, on top of still having to go to work and everything. Yes.
Okay, so you're waking up. You got these packages to deliver, and you're sticking your QR code on the packages to deliver these people's packages.
Yeah.
Talk about dues, right? Talk about dues.
Yes.
Okay, so you're doing that. You're delivering the package. Okay, time out. A lot of this stuff I didn't know. So here's what I pride myself on. I pride myself, and I use this saying all the time. I pride myself on being the hardest working person you know. You just won't know it. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the stuff I do, and I work my tail off. a lot of the things I do are very intentionally behind the scenes. I do a lot behind the scenes. You know, I made a priority this year to learn at a high level website development, all that, you know, stuff that people do for a career. There are a lot of people, their entire job is they learn how to build websites, they learn SEO, they learn internet marketing. I get like 75 phone calls a day talking about, you know, I'm trying to put your business on Google. You know, I get all that. And I was like, I don't want you. You're wasting my time. I want to learn what you do. And I put forth a lot of effort this year. We're in mid-February to learn that. And I've learned, true story, I've learned how to build a website from scratch. That's not easy, man. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a professional. You know, I'm not a professional. There's a lot of people who do it better than me. But I want to get to a point in my entrepreneur career where I don't need to hire anyone to do anything. I still will because my time is valuable. Yeah. But if I know everything, it gives me a better accessibility to, you know, oversee these things, to make sure they're done the way I want them to be done, to make sure that they're done correctly. I put forth a lot of time, effort, and energy to learning how the people who built my websites work, so I can go, okay, I see how you did that. I like that. I appreciate it. I understand the value behind it. So I really want to get to a point where I can become self-sustaining, right? I don't need to hire a marketing firm. And again, I will do those things because I'm not going to do all that stuff. I ain't got time to do all that. But I want to know how to do it. So that way you can't talk crazy to me or take advantage of me or tell me there's necessary steps that are not really that required. You're just saying that to increase your invoice, right? So, you know, with that being said, there's a lot behind the scenes. There's a lot behind the scenes. And I pride myself on being the hardest working person you know, without you knowing it. But it sounds like there's a lot more you're doing than I knew. A lot more.
A lot of people don't know. I don't talk about it. I don't, you know, that's not me. I'm not that girl who brags like, oh, you know, what I'm doing. Like, once I get to where I'm going, you know, I know personally that I put in the work.
Yeah.
Like, my work ethic is, you know, unmatched. Like how you feel about yourself. Like, I feel the same way. Like, there's somebody out there doing more than me. Like, when I'm getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, I know somebody's probably getting up at 3, you know, so I put in.
But you're consciously thinking that when you're doing these things, and that gives you kind of motivation, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I was talking to a buddy of mine, and one of the reasons I moved, you know, I knew I needed to move from Fort Worth to Dallas because of the office and how much I needed to be there and how extensive that hour and a half drive was to get to work. But one of the things that really made me decide I wanted to move downtown into a high rise was, you know, I wake up at, you know, I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I don't always make the Wednesdays, but I always make the Mondays, and I try my best to always make the Fridays. But we do 5:30 a.m. basketball runs. So we do basketball 5:30 a.m. And when I wake up, you know, around 5:15, I get my basketball clothes on, and I look out the window, and there are lights already on. You know, I look right out that window, and there are people already up. I can see them. They're up. They're you know, on their computer, and I'm like, man, you're not doing as much as possible.
Right.
You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot compared to the masses. But man, there's someone working harder than you. Mm-hmm. And that notion, that concept, it's engraved in my mind. It's tattooed in my mind. Yeah. Like when I feel like, man, I did so much and I'm so tired, and man, Kev, let's take an early night. I look out the window and I'm like, damn, that dude's still working. Yeah. That dude's still working, and it pushes me and it motivates me and it keeps me going. And you know, sometimes it makes me, you know, true story, sometimes it makes me think I'm crazy. And then I meet other people who are the same, and I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm in a group of people who are not that group of people. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm in a different group. And the community of seeing people who also think and operate that way, it gives me affirmation that I'm not off. I'm just not one of you. I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. You know, right. So you're doing okay. So let's kind of get to this point. So at this point, you've got the YouTube going. You're doing wine chips. Mm-hmm. How often you guys doing that?
The YouTube and the wine chips. Oh, the wine chips. It's not so often. Probably like every other month now. You know, like I said, it's not. It's one of, you know, it's a hobby. You know, it's not one of like my main concern. I'm not putting 100% into it. You know, so it's there. But
priority one is the Fowler collection.
Yes.
Okay. So you've got the wine chips going. It's an active thing. Mm-hmm. You've got the reviews going. The reviews are a consistent thing.
Yes.
We're talking what? Weekly?
Weekly.
Yeah, we're doing the reviews. Okay. Then you've got, obviously, your recruiting job. that kind of lets you do your thing because you're an asset, as you said. All right. And then you've got the Fowler collection. That's probably priority one at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a lot going on. And then at this point, we're discovering, hey, I'm waking up 5 a.m. I'm, doing these packages, things. I'm getting my brand out there.
I still work out too. And try to have a social life. Like, yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's kind of hit you with some rapid fire questions. Number one, how you wake up at 5 a.m., huh?
Sometimes earlier.
Okay. What would be the base time if you had to pick an average time?
Probably 5.
Okay.
5:30.
How long you been doing that?
For a long ass time.
Couple months, couple weeks?
Like over a year. Like probably probably about over a year.
Where did that start? Why was that? What made you decide, I'm going to turn myself into a 5 a.m. person?
I got a lot of shit to do. So it's just having a lot on my plate, trying to, I want to work out, I want to try to be healthy, so I got to get that in somewhere. I still got to have a job and still try to run a business. So I got to sacrifice something.
You need more time.
Yeah.
You need more time in the day.
Yeah.
And I believe the same thing, right? There are days we get done and I'm just like, man, I wish I had 4 more hours.
Yeah.
Like I wish I had more time.
Right.
And that really stems from what time you began. And not necessarily what time you woke up, but what time you began. Like I know a lot of people who wake up at 6, 7 a.m.
But they don't start.
But they don't start their day until 10 or 11. I've got good friends, man, and I'm like, what did you do? And they're like, I just, I made breakfast, I, hung out, watched TV, boo, 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 boo. What time did you start being productive? What time did you start getting things moving towards where you want to go? And they're like,
I plan my movements like weekly. Like every week I know what day I'm going to post something. Like what I'm going to post that day, what I'm going to post the next day. Like I plan my weeks out. So
where did you learn that?
Nowhere. I think I just did it.
It's kind of a habit that you created?
Yeah, it's a habit. And then I was telling my brother, he's like, I do that too. And I was like, oh, I'm not the only one that, do that too. And I was like, oh, okay.
So talk to me about that. So you're saying you plan your days.
Yeah.
Or you plan your week.
My weeks, yeah.
What give me a depiction of what that represents. How is that work? What day, what do you do? How do you do it?
Yeah, I try to incorporate, my business with it. Like definitely on like either Wednesday or Thursday, I try to post a wine rate. Throughout the week, every day something about wine. Like I'm going to post some information, probably going to, a Tuesday about wine. Monday, every day I post, something motivational. I'm always talking about win the day. Everybody knows me for that. So I get some DMs like, oh, we're going to win the day. Like, yeah. So I'm always trying to be positive. So if you don't see anything, you're going to see something positive that I'm posting. So.
Okay. So you're waking up 5 a.m. You're running through all the things you're juggling, all the things you've got going on. What time do you go to sleep?
I don't. I don't probably go to sleep till like 3 a.m. sometimes. Sometimes it's a lot of days that I get like probably like 3-4 hours of sleep. Like I remember, I can't forget it. I remember the exact day that I dropped my website for my brand. I didn't sleep the entire, I was up for like probably 28 hours. And it took like a shock to my body because like I didn't sleep or whatever. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, I scared myself because I couldn't, go to sleep or whatever, but I was up working and everything. And yeah, sometimes I do stay up more than a day or so. Well,
let me ask you this. Why? Is it that you're choosing not to sleep or is it that you can't sleep?
I'm choosing not to, trust me. Like, because I know it's going to pay off, I got to put in the work early.
What's the ultimate goal?
Financial freedom, just have my time. That's what I want.
How do you know you've arrived there?
What, financial freedom?
How do you know you've arrived at your, let me give some input, right? I've got a new mentor. His name is Jeff York, and he's on a different level. His company right now, I looked at it the other day, is on the New York Stock Exchange, publicly traded company for $64 billion. He's the CEO of it, and he did this challenge, and he said, the challenge was called My Life When I Have Created It. And he said, I want you to answer these questions. And it was 12 questions, and I went through this with someone recently. I think it was a group I was in. I was the Kingdom Business Leader group. I went through this, and he said, I want you to fill out these blanks. My life when I have completed all of the tasks I have looks like blank. I represent blank. In my community, I'm looked at as blank. When people in my life see me as blank. People in my church see me as blank. There's 12 of these blanks. But the concept is to create a vision of what it looks like when you have accomplished the things that you're working towards. So my question to you is, you've referenced in a lot of the different things that you've talked about, this is to get me to where I'm going. All these things are going to be okay once I arrive. All of this work is going to pay out when I get there. In your life, for you, and I could answer that for me, but for you, what is there? What is it? When everything you're working towards, the picture you're trying to paint, what does it look like?
It looks like peace for me. Yeah, that's not my number one. You just peace. To not have to worry about, the next day or whatever, but just to be at peace with life.
Well, look, I've got to challenge you, right? I've got to be devil's advocate. I can't just be here, tooting your horn and patting your back. Yeah. Peace could come in many fashions. That's what people are going to think. I could have true story, man. I could have a 10 to 7 at McDonald's working 6 days a week. And when I get off of work, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. My bills are paid. I make $1,000 every week, or let's say I make $2,000 a month and my bills are $1,500. I've got $500 to live off of for, the month. I'm at peace, man. That's peaceful. I'm going to the crib. I'm chilling. That's peaceful. Mm-hmm. Why is it that that's something you haven't created already? Why is it something that you're still missing? Why is it something you're still creating? There's no way. I get that there's probably more depth to the answer of peace. Mm-hmm. But there has to be more than that, because I believe right now, if you decided to stop doing everything you're doing, and you could find peace. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's the end game. What is the ultimate goal?
God, you really are picking my brain.
Come on now. Come on now. That's what we do here. I don't want to know what you did. Look. We could look on social media and see what you did. I want to know how you tick.
Maybe I'm still searching for it. The end goal with it. But I know what I'm doing. I'm happy doing it. So maybe that end goal I don't really have an answer for.
I get that. And people are different, right? Like, let me give you my perspective, which is very, very different than yours. Mm-hmm. I enjoy what I do. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the amount of effort that I put into what I'm doing to try and become successful. I enjoy the process of leveling up. I believe in life and in the business world and in the society we live in, the capitalist society we live in, there are levels to this game, mm-hmm. And every time you level up, every time you arrive at a new level, new things are unlocked. When you go from making $50,000 a year to $100,000 a year, that's a new level. You're now a 6-figure earner. New things are unlocked. New friends are unlocked. New resources are unlocked. New privileges are unlocked. You arrive at new friend groups. You have the ability to get new cars. New things are unlocked. And you get, and I used to think I was crazy until I saw someone say the same thing I said, and I watched a Kevin Hart interview, and he said the same thing. When you get to another level, you have a decision to make. You can look at that level and you can go, I'm cool here and I'm going to stay here. I like this level. I'm going to stop right here. Mm-hmm. Or you can go, cool, I like this level, but I want to level up again. I want to get to the next level. I want to go from making $100,000 to $200,000. I want to make from $200,000 to $500,000. I want to make $1 million. And there are people who make $1 million a year who look at that level and they go, nah, my buddy makes 10 or 20 or 50 or 100, and I want to continue to level up because new things will be unlocked. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. If you start making $100 million a year, you're going to unlock new people. You're going to probably start, you're going to get a blue check, and you could probably start hanging out with, Aaron Donald, Yeah. New things become unlocked. So the concept of saying the arrival for me, that point, is peace. I get what you're saying. But I also appreciate and respect the fact that you're saying, hey, maybe I'm just interested in the pursuit. I don't really know what the end is. I'm very different. Everything for me is a chess move. But as much as I enjoy the climb, as much as I enjoy the growth is really what it breaks down to. I enjoy growing. Mm-hmm. You know, every step, good, bad, or ugly, is growth. I grow from it. I enjoy sitting here, not just talking to you, but learning. I enjoy learning from you. I enjoy learning from people. I enjoy going through these things to gain knowledge. But at the end of the day, for me, I don't want to be here. Like, I respect the level I'm at. I have such a great appreciation for what God has given me and the blessings he's given me to be where I'm at today. But this is not where I want to be. And I feel that. I consciously feel that in my heart of hearts. It's like I arrived into a new room that's far better than the room I was in before, but I still am like, I'm not going to be here very long. You know, I was watching an interview with Taylor Horton Tucker, who was lighting up the G League, killing the G League. And he told an interviewer, they're like, man, you're doing a great job. You're killing the game. Like, what's the deal? And he was like, I don't belong here. And they were like, well, you're kidding. And he's like, I don't belong here. Like, I'm doing well here because I'm not supposed to be here. Like, this is where I'm at right now, and this is what I have to go through to get where I'm going. But I don't belong here. I appreciate all you guys giving me acknowledgement for what I'm doing at this level, but I belong in the NBA. And now we all know the dude's playing on the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? That dude passing the ball to LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? So as arrogant or as prideful or as, you know, condescending as that may seem, I think everyone understands, and it'll change, it'll grow, it'll get better, but everyone has an identity of self-worth. Mm-hmm. And sometimes your concept of self-worth internally is greater than what it is externally. And I believe your mission and my mission and the mission of a lot of people is to get who you see yourself in the mirror as into the world. Like, when I look in the mirror, I don't see who I'm trying to become, right? I'm still trying to grow so much. But I see a level of potential and I see a vision of where I want to go that when I kind of look around and I survey where I'm at this personal moment in time, I'm like, I don't belong here. Mm-hmm. Like, I definitely should be here today because that's who I am today. I'm not good enough to get where I'm going, but I won't be here long. It may take me a year, 2 years, 10 years. It may take me 30 years to level up to the next level. That may be possible, and I'm willing to go through that process. I'm willing to do that, but I'm not staying here. Like, I'm just not staying here, man. When I got to that room, I looked at everybody. I'm like, man, I respect all of you, and I love the fact that I get the opportunity to be in this room with you guys. But I'm not staying here. Like, enjoy me while I'm here because I'm trying to get to the next room, and I may not do it, man. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna, you know, make it like I've proclaimed, right? And this is when the pressure hit. What you see yourself is one thing, but when you proclaim it out loud, there's a different level of pressure. And I have proclaimed out loud that when I'm all said and done, when I hang up, you know, the basketball per se, metaphorically, when I put the shoes away, when I lock the locker, I want to be a billionaire. And I don't need to have 10, 20, you know, I just want one. I just want one. I want $1 billion, not because I want $1 billion, right? But I want to get to that level of respect and that level of success. If you name any billionaire on the planet right now, their grandkids will get into any college they want. If Jeff Bezos' grandkids applied for your college and you looked at their resume and it wasn't good enough, you're not gonna deny them. You're not gonna deny Pi Musk coming to your college, man. You know, Pi Musk could have a 1.2 GPA and he's getting into Harvard. He's freaking Elon Musk's kid. You know what I'm saying? I want to create that for me. And that's my personal mission. I'm not saying anyone has to adapt that, but that's how I approach it. So every single step throughout my life, it's not enough. Mm-hmm. It's not enough, man. It's not enough. I could have accolades and success and money. It's not enough because it's not in alignment with what I'm trying to create. And that's the reason I asked that question. Is not because I'm trying to back you into a corner, but everyone approaches the game of life differently. Mm-hmm. Everyone approaches it. Some people genuinely enjoy the process. I respect the process. The process does not bring me fulfillment. The destination brings me fulfillment. But because I respect the process, I understand fully. I understand 150%. I was talking to, Brandon Pogue about this. I respect that it's going to take time. I respect that I'm going to fall on my face. I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes. I'm going to do a bunch of stupid stuff. I've made a ton of mistakes. I made a ton of mistakes in my businesses. Ton of them. it's a part of my journey, but I'm never gonna get to this level, right? Like my level. If I wanted to financially, I could be very comfortable right here. I could be like, yo, I'm gonna retire right here, right? Like I'm cool. It doesn't bring me fulfillment. It doesn't bring me peace. It doesn't make me go, yeah, I made it. It doesn't give me that. And I do believe it would give a lot of people that feeling. A lot of people would be able to go like, oh yeah, I'm cool right here forever. I don't get that. And that's why I'm kind of asking you that question is there a destination in mind, or do you just feel the concept of you're still trying to drive the car?
I mean, there is a destination in mind, but I do enjoy the process. So, yeah. For me, it is.
So you got to get raw, right? I'm getting deep on you right now, huh? Come on now.
I mean, it's simple. Like I'm a simple person. So, like I said, it's a journey that I intake. It's wealth that I want to create for my kids, my family. Like that's the whole reason why it's branded the Fowler Collection, so my family and, generations to come, like to see what I built for them, what we did. So,
I would, if I describe that in one word, and I use this word all the time, it's your legacy. Mm-hmm. I've said this before and I will always say this. I'll say this till the day I die. This is a short ride. It's a very, very short ride, man. We're on this earth on average 80 years, on average. If you're lucky, you'll go longer. I was door knocking today with the team in Dallas, and me and Josh knocked the door. This guy was celebrating. They had balloons. They had a whole sign, and he was celebrating his 100th birthday. And he was driving. He pulled up. He pulled up for his 100th birthday. You know what I'm saying? That's incredible. That is incredible, but quite frankly, I don't know if I'll live that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, my knees already hurt, man. I got back problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, I smoke cigars, man. I don't know if I'm gonna make it 100 years. So I'm very conscious that the end is near, and it sounds gloomy, but it's my honest life, man. Like, I keep in mind very strong, very, very, very consciously, God can call me home any day, man. My phone may ring tonight. My phone may ring tomorrow. My phone may ring next week. And my brand, not my entities or my companies or my LLCs, but my brand is Kevin Epps. When I die, I will leave a legacy. Every person on this earth will leave a legacy. Now, if it's one you're proud of, I don't know. But everyone will leave a legacy. When you die, X amount of people will go to your funeral. And X amount of people will say X about you. And X amount of people will remember you for X. If you don't pay attention to those things, they're not going to be inspiring. Your life on this earth will be insignificant. And I know it sounds tough to say that out loud, but that's the reality. There are a lot of people on this earth who live and die, and they're just not remembered. Their stamp on this planet is irrelevant. And I know I sound like a negative Nancy, but that's the truth, man. Yeah. Their kids just go, my dad didn't know, or he didn't teach me, or whatever. It's just okay. I don't want to do that personally. Like, I may never make it to a level where I'm known throughout the country, or people know me who don't know me. But man, my kids better know what I brought to the table, and they better at least at some point, 50, 100 years from now, go, man, my dad showed me that. My dad taught me. I'm this way because my dad was this way. Mm-hmm. That is the fulfillment I'm chasing. And I'm very conscious that, I got to be inspiring. And not necessarily just a monetary success or financial success, but the mission has to be big. The quest has to be huge. And that drives me. It really, really, really drives me that you're not doing enough. Listen, you're talking about your schedule, and in comparison, I'm like, damn, okay, all right, I mess with that because I really pride myself on that. I pride myself on how much effort I put forth to this world on a daily basis. Into many different avenues and many different things, I put forth a ton of effort, and I pride myself on that. But then I remind myself, Kev, like, the mission you're on is not of a normal person. I'm on a mission that is not normal. So you can't settle for what would be a lot to a normal person. A normal person would look at what I do and would look at what you do and go, man, you're doing a lot. But I'm not trying to appease normal people. Right. I'm trying to appease abnormal people. I'm trying to put in a level of effort that people who put in a high level of effort go, dang, that dude's working like a mofo. You know what I'm saying? You know, Goggins says it best. I am trying to be uncommon amongst uncommon men. And that will go over a lot of heads, but that's kind of where my quest is at. And I respect you kind of saying that, and I also respect you saying, hey, I don't know if I've fully painted the picture. And that's okay, because you're interested in just leveling up. You're interested in moving forth and creating something. You know, for me, I think I reverse engineered it, and I painted the picture very early. This is what I want to do. And then every single thing is to get there. And that was important for me, so that way when I did attain a level of success, I could remind myself, well, you're not there yet. And I tell myself that all the time, man. Like, all the time, like, man, I'm not there yet. You know, my business partners know that, and they hold me accountable. They hold me very accountable, you know. I had a call the other day with Anthony. He's like, Kev, like, we're not there yet. I'm like, who you telling? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know we ain't there yet. You know what I'm saying? So I get that, and I understand that concept. And I also, because I already know what my picture looks like, I also know what's going to be required to get there. You know, I know on paper how much this company is going to have to do in revenue a year. I know how much this company is going to have to do in revenue a year. I know how many companies I'm going to need to have to do that. I can kind of strategically line out what is going to be needed to arrive at that destination. I know how much gas I need. I know how quality of a car I need. I know how much food I got to pack. I know how many restroom stops I got to plan for. I know how many hours I get to drive. Like, I understand that concept because I know where I'm going. And not necessarily to attack you, but that was my way of looking at it, because, again, our perceptional understanding is based on what we know. So sometimes when you come across people who look at it differently, I genuinely want to know how you approach it and how you see it so I can learn from it, because I see it very, very, very different. You know, you and I are, you know, although we're both on the same journey, we're both putting forth very, very similar mindsets of work is required, effort is going to be required. Nobody's going to care how much work you put in. I don't need to boast what I'm doing because this is irrelevant, because I'm trying to make it happen. We're very, very, very similar on that consensus. I think the difference is I painted the picture before I started traveling. And you're just like, yo, I'm just driving as fast as I possibly can, as hard as I can. And you're going to arrive there because you're driving super duper fast. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you telling us that. So you build the Fowler collection. The Fowler collection is obviously priority one. You're going through the steps, and you're putting forth effort to then get your brand out there. Now that you know what you know in your mind, what were some of the best moves you made to get your brand to kind of have some traction, to have some solidity? Let me ask that another way. If I was trying to create a brand, let's say I was someone who was a blank canvas, and I was like, I want to grow my brand. Let me give you a real situation. Today, I was out with the guys in the field, and I was talking to Josh about you. And I was like, yeah, we're going to have her on. She's going to talk about, you know, how she built her brand and give us some insight. And he was like, man, John's trying to build a brand. And John, you know, we're in the back, we're in the bed of the truck driving around, we're door knocking. And John rolls the window down, and he's like, what are you guys talking about? And I'm like, yeah, we're talking about, you know, we're going to have Bre on tonight, and she's going to talk to us about building a brand. And he was like, man, he's trying to start a brand where he wants to do food reviews. He's a very personable guy. He's an awesome person. Yeah. And he wants to review food, you know, and I would never do that because I don't even have Yelp. I don't even have Yelp on my phone, right? He's one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes who goes to a restaurant, he reviews it. Good, bad, or ugly. I will only review you if you're bad. You know, I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
if you're good, man, you're doing what I expected of you. You know, I'm not giving you a pat on the back for doing your job. But he's one of those guys. He'll be like, man, service was great. Food was great. You know, he does that. You know, we went and grabbed burgers today, and we all sat down. He pulls out his phone. He's like, hey, you know, I got this burger. You know, the burger's really good, but the bun is kind of squishy. And, you know, he's doing his thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he wants to build that brand. And he was like, man, what steps do I need to do? What are the things I need to keep in mind to get my brand out there? And that's the question I have for you in real application.
you got to find your purpose first and foremost. Like, you got to know your why you're doing it, you know. Everything else, advice that I would have is, you got to know that whatever field you're in, you know, you are just like I said earlier, you're hustling on a crowded block unless you're inventing something new, like, or whatever. But you have to know you're in competition with, you know, with whoever, and you have to be able to stand out of what you're doing, you know, lead by example. Have someone, you know, like a mentor, have a mentor in the game with you, because you be able to be coachable, you know, because you don't know everything, you know, so that's my thing for being able to be an entrepreneur. Like, you know, I know it's cliche, but don't, you know, finish. You have to finish. So. Yeah.
And, you know, I was, one of the toughest, and I don't know if I've talked about this on the show or not, but one of the toughest lessons I had to learn, and it hit me hard, man. It rocked me for like 2 or 3 days where I was just jacked, man. Mentally, I was jacked. And I had a call with my business partner, Marco, my best friend. And I wanted to share it with him because I wanted him to understand it. And it was the concept. And I learn a lot in sports, man. I'm big on sports. I love that you come from sports. Sports is one of the things that I turn to for knowledge, information, to understand the mindset of successful people, right? I don't think there's no other business on earth where after you complete your day of work, you have to give an interview. There's no other business where you finish, you know, whatever. If you're a chief finance officer and you finish doing the accounting reports and all that, where you then gotta sit at a table with people asking you questions. There's no other business. But sports, when you're done doing your job and performing, you have to explain why you did what you did. You have to give accountability to your decisions, to your process, to the way you thought. And people take that for granted. You know, just to be honest, I tell people, man, you want to learn how to win? Stop turning the game off when it's done. Turn the game off when the interviews are finished. Watch the doggone interviews. That, to me, you know, maybe I'm crazy for this. I like the interviews more than I like the game. I love the game. I love competition. But that game ain't going to, man, listen to me. If the Lakers beat the Grizzlies, that ain't going to change my life. That's not going to make me more money. That's not going to make me smarter. It's not going to make me sharper. It's not going to help me be more successful. It may give me a vice. It may give me a level of entertainment that helps me kind of calm down for my day, but it ain't going to make me better. You know what will make me better is watching John Morant explain why he did what he did. Watching John Morant explain why he made that pass or why he took that shot or what he saw or what he was thinking when he did this. That tells you the way extremely successful people think. We're talking about people at the highest level, the pinnacle of that realm, having to give an accord to their decision-making process. So I was talking to my friend. I was relating it to sports. And I was like, listen, every single time you level up, every time you climb the socioeconomic ladder, you're a peon again. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, listen, I want you to imagine this scenario. I want everybody to imagine this scenario. Imagine you're playing middle school basketball. Let's just use basketball for example, because everyone knows basketball. You're the best player on the team. Best player on the team. Everybody knows you're the best player on the team. You're give him the ball. You're the bucket getter, right? And you did so well that when you got to high school, they're like, okay, we want this guy to play varsity as a freshman. We want you to play varsity. And you talked shortly that you played varsity as a freshman. Here's the reality, man. You ain't jack now. You may have been that dude in middle school, but in high school, you're just a freshman now. They may have put you on the team because you're that good, but you don't have anyone's respect now. You got to start all over in the respect process. You got to show up to high school, and you got to size up the high school players. You got to say, how hard do you work? And if I want you as a senior to respect me as a freshman, I got to outwork you as a senior. And that level of effort and energy and work might have been more than what was required of me in middle school. And let's say you do that. Let's say you work your way up to becoming the dog in high school. You got your position back. You're the dog. You're the go-getter. You're the bucket getter. You're the last shot, give him the ball in your high school. So now you got D1 colleges looking at you. Hey, man, we want you to come play for us. Well, guess what? When you show up to college, you know what happened? All that shit happened all over again. Now you show up to college, you're a freaking nobody all over again. All over again, you're nobody. And you got to do it again. You got to show up to college. You got to look at the best player in college and go, okay, now I see your level of work. I need you to respect me as the newcomer on the block. Let me show you what I can do. And the level of effort it takes to climb the college ladder is going to be higher than the level of effort it takes to climb the high school ladder. Mm-hmm. Again, scenario, let's just keep rolling. Let's say you do that. And you work your tail end off. You become the hardest working person at this Division I school, which is a challenge in itself. That is a doggone challenge. Now you got the league calling. Hey, we want to draft you. You get drafted. Guess what happened? You start all over again. You're a rookie. So the concept that I'm trying to put out there, every single time you level up, you're not that dude anymore. You may still be that dude internally, but you got to get that out there. You got to show people that. You got to get that level of respect. And that rocked me. That rocked me because when I was younger, I was very talented. And I worked for my talents. I worked hard for my talents. But I was talented, and a lot of my success came from that talent. My God-given abilities in combination to my efforts. And then when I got into the entrepreneur world, I really believed in my heart, for some very naive reason, it was very naive of me, that my talents were going to carry me. I was like, no, I'm really talented. But then you show up, in my opinion, when you talk about getting into a business like I'm in, this is college, man. This ain't the league. This is college. I can't tomorrow go buy a $200 million yacht. I'm not there. I'm in college at this point, in the entrepreneur world. And everyone in college was the best player in their high school. So the thing that I thought was going to carry me, I was the best guy, man. I was the smartest dude. Everybody knew me. I was good looking. I was sharp. I could speak. Everyone's like that. They're all like, dude, we were all like that. Like, everyone in college is like, nah, dude, we were all the bucket getter in high school. Every single one of us. And you got to face that. You got to humbly go, oh, I didn't realize that. And you have, again, the same decision I talked about when you talk about leveling up in the socioeconomic ladder. You have a decision. Do you want to get to college and go, okay, I'm going to be a role player? I get that. I'm just like you. You're just like me. Let me be a role player. Or you make the decision that I'm not staying here. I want to go to the league. Mm-hmm. And if you want to go to the league, you got to outwork everybody in college. Everyone in college, you got to look at them and go, hey, I respect what you're doing. I've seen what you've done for the last 3 years. I'm here now. I'm taking over. And you got to back that up. You got to really back that up with work ethic, effort, energy, strategic moves. It's all part of the process. And if you do that and you get drafted to the league, well, that starts all over again. And I learned that really the hard way. And I'll be honest about it. My talents are, for lack of better words, they're not shit. Because everyone is talented now. Everyone is talented. Like when you're talking about what it takes to make it in that world, that realm of clothing, man, they all are talented. Everyone's talented. Everyone's got good products. Everyone's got good merchandise. So you're not going to be able to survive off of just that notion. Right. You're going to have to go, hey, I'm here now, and I want to do well here, but I got to climb. And you got to face the fact that once you've arrived, you're at entry level. And that is a tough lesson for most people, because most people don't really, until they get to that high level of success, they've never felt the concept of being entry level. And I had to learn, I'll say this now, I had to learn that because I've never been entry level. My entire life, I've never been entry level. You know what I'm saying? Like coming into organizations throughout school, throughout my childhood, I had a natural swagger, a natural alpha male dominance that allowed me to kind of skip a few steps. I didn't have to get bullied or, get picked on and then decide I wanted to change. I didn't go through that. You know what I'm saying? Like I got in high school and I was already stealing kids' lunch money. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just me. So then when I got to a level where everyone was like that, it was a tough blow. It was like, dang, man, I didn't expect that. And I think a lot of people don't grasp that concept that when they get there, they think that that's going to float them. A lot of people think that it's going to float them. Like I got friends who are probably watching this episode who want to start businesses. I've got a ton of guys who talk to me like, man, I want to start a business. Look, man, you may be able to start it, but you're not going to make waves. You're not going to put a crease in the industry. You're not going to get into the clothing industry and shake anything up because you're not doing anything when you come in lackluster with the concept that my good looks or my mentality or my God-given ability is going to take me far, everyone has that. Everyone. And, my question to you, and again, this is my perception. This is my personal feeling. Have you seen that in any light? You know, coming into because the clothing business, right? Let's just talk about that one for an industry. Very, very, very scarce, right? Like we talked to V last time, and he's talking about it too. A lot of dudes doing that. A lot of people doing that, and I think you're really coming into this making waves. You know, what of it? How much of it was conscious that what I'm explaining, or is it none in your mind? And you can say honest, like I didn't think about it that way, or you're crazy. You can say I'm crazy. A lot of people say I'm crazy.
No, I knew coming in it wasn't going to be easy. You know, I knew everybody was doing it, but I knew everybody wasn't doing wine. You know, but I knew I had to find my lane in what I stood for, and you know what I'm going to stand on, and how I'm going to stand out to everyone. So I didn't care, but I didn't care. You know, so I knew it was going to be hard, but I'm here, and it's not going to be like, I'm going to finish it. Like I stated earlier, like you have to go in and you have to finish what you started. Like most people go in like, oh, I'm just going to sell a few shirts or a few hoodies or whatever and be done. No, like I actually want to just go beyond with this. So
you made a commitment that I'm going to start this, but then I'm also going to see it through.
Yeah.
What does see it through mean? Like when do you know you say you have to finish it? When is finished? When do you know you're finished?
Well, I see myself, I definitely want to, collaborate with one person for sure, and that's Dwayne Wade. Like everybody knows I want to collaborate with that. He has his own wine label, but he doesn't have a wine apparel. So I definitely want to do something along those lines. But to get, people like him, in my brand is definitely what I want to do.
And that's how you know you're kind of there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. And this question comes up in the business world all the time. Is your end game to sell your company? If someone came to you with a buyout offer and said, we want to buy this from you, would that be something you entertained?
No.
And I asked that because I was asked that Tuesday. This past Tuesday was about selling your company and would you sell? And I said, man, I don't think I would sell. Yeah. I don't think I would sell it. I'm not at that point because for me, yes, I want the income, right? But the amount of money you're going to offer me is not pertaining to where I'm going. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's not a part of, like I said, I've got my end game in mind. I've had my end in mind from the very beginning. You got to have the end in mind. And for someone who didn't completely depict what the end looks like, from someone who's kind of just going with it, and you have obviously goals and intentions and aspirations, but it's not as clear as mine. I'm not saying that in a negative connotation, but I could write down to you when I'm done. Like I could put it on a piece of paper, and then if I could hand that to a genie and he could go, what if I give you that today? Then I would literally be like, cool, I'm done. Like I'm done. Yours is different than mine. So if someone came to you, let's say Dwayne Wade came to you, for example, and said, hey, Bre, we love your clothing line. We want to buy it from you. We're going to give you X amount of dollars. Would you do it?
No.
Why not?
I think that's the beauty of in me not knowing where my destination is, because I can kind of I don't have an end to mine, right? So I don't have to be like somebody can just buy me out or whatever the case is. So I think there's more. So
yeah, it's all kind of case by case. It's all a feeling process. Mm-hmm. Okay, so talk to me about the tough. No, let me rephrase that. Talk to me about the challenges of building a brand. Talk to me about the things that you did not forecast and then it happened and you're like, oh, crap.
One I can definitely say is my website. Like I didn't hire anybody to do it. You could have go the easy route and find an expert to do it, but I didn't. I wanted to be like, oh, I can do this on my own. And the day before I actually was supposed to, drop the website or whatever, it like all crashed. Like I had a meltdown. Like I was like on the phone with the website people, like, what's going on? Like, what do I do? What do I need to do? Or whatever. Like, and on top of that, I was up for like, a day. Like I was just freaking out. I was going through it. But I got it down. Like I was up the whole day, even when, because it's supposed to drop like at 12 a.m. So I literally got it done like probably like at 11:40. Like I was so close. I'm like, yo, like this can't be happening. Like right before I was supposed to do it, like everything just went to shambles. So people don't see what goes on, like behind the scenes, like stuff like that. But yeah, it was very hard. That's one challenge that I went through. Just doing that. Photo shoots. The photographer not coming through, models, like little stuff like that too.
Let's talk about that for a second, right? So you obviously have your clothing brand, and you guys do legitimately professional shoots, right? And I want to commend that because I have friends who all have clothing brands, and as they're building their brand, it's someone taking photos of them with their stuff on. But you have like legitimate, real, like good-looking models, right? And also, I just want to use this as one moment. I think my invitation to be a model got lost. I think I accidentally deleted the email. I think I saw an email that said, Kevin, we want you to be a model, and I accidentally pressed delete.
My people sent that? Oh,
yeah, I think that happened. But you got extremely good-looking people. You got a whole process. You got a whole freaking thing going on.
What people don't know, not to cut you off, what people don't know that the last photo shoot, the one that you see, I think as soon as you click on my website, I actually shot that photo shoot. You
shot it?
I shot that.
Because I'm assuming the photographer didn't show up.
It was. And I was like, I got a camera. Like when I first started, like I bought a new camera, I bought a laptop. Like I spent all this money on this shit. I was like, well, I'm gonna put it to use. Like I can do it. Like I was scared. Like this is not gonna turn out right. And I got behind the scenes, and I did it. So,
but how did you know? How did you know to do that in the first place? How did you know you wanted to do a professional photo shoot? How did you know you wanted to get legitimate models? How did you go about it? How did you find these models? How did you reach out to them? What was the process in that? How did you know about it first? How did you know that's something you wanted to do?
Well, have a photo shoot? Mm-hmm. I mean, I wanted to look, legit. I knew that. I wanted to look professional. So, I reached out to my friends, that I knew, and not everybody, fell through. And people who did, I just made what I had, made the best of it, and did what we did. So, I mean, it wasn't a cakewalk for sure, but
yeah. But keep in mind, what I'm more interested in is not the act of it. Everyone can see the act of it. Mm-hmm. Everyone can go to your website right now and see
it's the planning,
the act of it. I want to know the mindset behind it. I want to know. Because here's the thing, right? I really believe, because I know you and I know your mentality, and you're starting to explain a little bit behind your mentality. There are things that may come natural to you that won't come natural to normal people. So what if I'm a normal person and I want to do these things? Well, how can I do it?
I was like, I personally, like, people that I did choose, like I was planning out, like I have sticky notes. If you ever come to my apartment, like I have sticky notes everywhere. So I pretty much planned out like
Post-it notes?
Yeah.
And what are on these Post-it notes?
Well, right now what I have is just like motivational, quotes, things that I tell myself, hold myself accountable for, just things like that or whatever.
So when things pop in your mind, you just write them down?
Yeah, or if I'm watching a podcast or reading a book or whatever.
Where do you post these sticky notes?
They're in my bathroom mirror. They're in my kitchen,
Just all over?
Yeah.
So if something just kind of pops in your mind, you just boom, boom, boom.
Not just something important that I want to, see every day, because I'm going to see that every day. I'm in my bathroom every day. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about a little bit behind your mentality, how you operate, right? How, I got asked this question by the young man I was talking about today, and it's shocking me and it's making me kind of sad because I'm realizing I didn't reply, but I had full intention to reply. I was driving, I was on the freeway, so if he sees this, I meant to reply, I was on the freeway. But he asked me, I was talking to him the last time I got the opportunity to see him, it was on Tuesday, and I was telling him how intentional he has to be with his time. You got to be very intentional with your time. You got a limited amount of time. And I know it sounds crazy, but here's the reality. I got 24 hours, you got 24 hours, you got 24 hours. But just to be super honest, I'm trying to do more than you and you. I'm just being honest. I'm not saying I will. You got a high work ethic, but I'm trying to do more than all you folios. I look out that window, I'm trying to do more than all of y'all. So I got to be intentional with my time. I can't waste my time. So he asked me, Kevin, how do you prioritize your time? How do you know where to allocate it? How do you know, how to spend it? How do you know, how can you effectively manage yourself to be the most productive possible? That is my question to you.
That just draws back to what me planning my, my weeks, in advance to where I don't have to stress about each day what I'm going to do. So I plan, my daily, days like weekly. So every day I know I don't have to just like wake up and just be like, oh, what I'm going to do. I have it right here, exactly what I'm supposed to do. Like what I'm supposed to post on social media, what I have scheduled today, any appointments today, you may have, whatever. So it's just how I plan mine.
Okay. Excuse me. And then with that being said, so you're obviously moving as swiftly as possible. You're trying to get things done. You're building your brand. You got things going. You're making very, very, very significant moves in the concept of trying to be professional. That's your goal, right? Is to make your brand look legitimate. That's why you're doing the photo shoots. That's why you're out doing the pop-ups. That's why you're out, doing the QR codes. Is you're trying to get into the industry. You're trying to disrupt it. You're trying to make yourself known. You're trying to make your presence, very clear that, hey, I'm trying to compete. I'm trying to play and be a big dog and be recognized by some of the moguls in the industry, right? Mm-hmm. And here's the reality, man. When you got high goals, it's very easy to be intimidated by that. When you're shooting that high, it's very tough to look at immediate results and go, man, maybe I'm out of my league. How much of that process is, if none at all?
I've thought about it, but for me, it's just motivation. Like it doesn't intimidate me that people that are already there. I cheer for people. Like I'm gonna get there. Like I see it. I clap for them, and my chance, my time, whatever. Like it's coming. So it definitely wasn't like a intimidation thing for me to know other people that are there or done it or whatever.
Yeah, there's a quote. Comparison is the thief of joy. Mm-hmm. When you compare yourself, you are stealing away the joy of what you're accomplishing. And I believe that. It doesn't, and, talking about my mentality, it doesn't come in effect to me because I don't compare myself to anyone else, but I consciously compare myself to who I'm trying to become. So I know it's a fact because I don't find joy in who I am today because I know where I want to go. But that is a fact, is that I am robbing myself of the joy I have today. Yeah. And I think a lot of people rob themselves of the joy they have because they're comparing themselves to Jimmy or John or Jesse or Travis, as opposed to just recognizing this is my mission, this is my quest, and this is where I am in the progression of that, right? So with that being said, how do you celebrate successes? How do you have milestones? Do you have love? And you building the brand that you've started to build, are there levels in which you go, okay, this was a milestone, or is it just kind of you're just like, for the same analogy we're talking about, you got on the freeway, you're driving. Is there any way where you recognize checkpoints, or are you just still driving and there's no celebration?
I think I said earlier, like I don't give myself time to celebrate, to do or anything. So with that being said, I don't even recognize that I've passed the milestone that I've created for myself or did anything. I have people around me who recognize it before I do, and they give me affirmations like, oh, I'm so proud of you and this, and I was like, I'm proud of myself, but they have to remind me that, damn, you did pretty good, you're pretty badass and stuff. So I personally don't.
Do you think that's crazy? Before you answer, I say that because I'm very similar, and I think I'm crazy. For me, I'm the same way. I don't recognize any checkpoints or milestones because I'm not there yet. Yeah. So if I'm 50 miles, like if Edwin invited me to his house and his house was 20 miles away, and I drove 10 miles, but I'm still 10 miles away, I'm not proud of that because I'm still 10 miles away. So for me in my life, if I'm not there yet, I'm not really that excited about this because I'm not there yet. Right. But I also had a great conversation with a good friend of mine named Art, and he asked me, what's your fear in that? And I said, honestly, for being completely honest, this is my honest fear. It's one of my deepest, darkest fears. I don't know if I've ever said this on camera. I have a lot of fears. I'm afraid to get to God, and I didn't accomplish everything. But when I talk about earthly fears, humanly fears, probably my greatest fear on this earth, in this vessel, in this meaty flesh called Kevin, My greatest fear is that I live my entire life with that mentality that I'm trying to get there, and everything in between the beginning and there is not enough, and I'm not proud of it, and I'm not excited about it. And my greatest fear is that when it's all said and done, I don't arrive. And if I don't arrive, I'll look back and go, man, I did not enjoy any of this.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified of that, right? Like, you know, I was watching the Dwayne Wade podcast, and he was like talking about, you know, LeBron's quest to be the greatest of all time. And he said, to be honest with you, a lot of the guys at that level all thought they were going to be the greatest. We just ran out of gas, or we ran out of talent. You know, we all thought we were going to be the greatest of all time. He said, I thought I was going to be the greatest of all time, but I just ran out of talent. Mm-hmm. For me, because I don't take milestones, and I'm just like, this isn't enough, this isn't enough, this isn't enough. And they're like, Kev, look what you... Nah, man, this is not enough. I'm very similar to you in that aspect where it's like, nah, I'm keep going, keep driving. Then I am afraid that I get to the end and I did not accomplish it. Right? Let's say I don't become a billionaire, which I will, but let's say I don't. And I made, you know, a couple $100 million. And I go, damn, dude, I didn't enjoy none of this. And I didn't enjoy any of it because I was so focused on where I'm going. Mm-hmm. And I have great people around me who tell me, Kev, that's crazy. You can't think that way. You got to be proud of what you've done. You got to enjoy what you've done, man. Stop working, take a vacation, They tell me that. And I'm like, but me mentally, and this is why I'm asking you, I can't agree with them. I can't respond to what they're saying because you don't know what I know about me. You don't know my potential. You don't know that I am genuinely willing to dedicate my entire life to this. I'm willing to dedicate every day until the day I die to this mission. And it does scare me that when I do get to the end, I'm like, damn, I didn't enjoy any of it. But quite frankly, I really feel if I got to 90 years old and I'm on my deathbed and the doctor says, Kev, you got 3 hours left to live. And I look back and go, I didn't enjoy any of it. I would be proud of that because on that mission, there are going to be people who are like, damn, if he could do that, I could do that. And that joy will carry with me to wherever God sends me from here. You know, me enjoying, oh, Kev, you got this car, you know, man, that ain't going with me. That's not going with me. I can't take that where I'm going. But I can get to where God sends me and be like, man, like, homie was inspired by me, and little bro was inspired by me, and Jeffrey saw what I did, and he wanted to do more. I can take that and pull out a scroll and go, God, check this out, man. Look at that. But I can't go, God, man, you know, I spent 2 years in Hawaii. He goes, I mean, I don't care about that. So for me, I'm very similar in that aspect, but that's how I see it. It doesn't bring me joy, nor do I have interest to find joy in the fact that I'm 10 miles away from my destination because I'm not there yet. And I don't really care about those checkpoints. But I also believe for a lot of people, based on their mentality, based on their outlook in life, that milestones are important for certain people. For certain people, it is important to have a milestone of success and to celebrate that. You know, when you arrive here, you should celebrate it. When you arrive here, you should celebrate it. When you get here, you should celebrate it. That's just not my outlook on life. So I am interested in how you see it.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I am. But I actually been trying to work on that, actually celebrate the small, you know, achievements that I've done. So I saw myself being like that. And I'm trying to just like, you know what? I don't want to end up like how you said, like, for you, it works. Like, if you were to die, you know, you'll be okay with everything you did and not enjoy, you know, anything out of it, but you got to where you were going. Like me, I'm kind of trying to change that narrative a little bit. So,
in which way and how?
Just celebrate the small, you know, accomplishments. Like I even getting a promotion at work, like, you know, I haven't celebrated yet, but I'm going to, like, you know, I'm not trying to just sweep that under the rug and just.
You got promoted from recruiter to senior recruiter?
Oh my God, get out of here.
Oh man.
I got a promotion, but yeah, like I haven't had the time to, you know, even, you know, tell anyone or acknowledge it, whatever. But,
is this an exclusive? Nobody else knows you got promoted or what?
Nobody. Well, I think like my sister knows.
Exclusive, baby. She got promoted.
Like my sister knows it and stuff, but like that's it. Like, you know, yeah. I don't, you know, just do things like that. I'm trying to work on that. So
why? Somebody told you it was a bad idea or what?
Nobody said it was a bad idea. It's just I had a friend of mine. He's like, just don't be so hard on yourself, Bre. You know.
And you responded to that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm asking not to challenge you, as though I do have the intention to challenge you. I'm asking because I genuinely actually want to learn, because people tell me that, Kev, you got to stop being so tough on yourself. You got to stop. But I respond every time, 10 out of 10 times. You don't know me. Like, I'm hard on myself because I know what I'm capable of. And what I'm doing is not close to what I'm capable of. So as much as you're proud of me, I'm not proud of me.
Yeah.
I'm not, man. Like, I'm not, man. Even where I'm at today, man, there are a lot of people who are proud of me.
Yeah,
I'm not, man. I'm not. Because, I really believe I could be doing more than I'm doing today. Yeah. And I'm not proud of it.
Yeah, they don't see what you see. So
they can't, man. No one, listen to me. I can't see your potential. Your mom can't see it. Your cousin can't see it. Your coworker can't see it. No one can see your potential. They can see what you put into this world, but they can't see what you see in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And I really believe the mission of everyone's life should be, one, look in the mirror and see yourself for everything that you have in your potential. See what God wanted you to be, and see what the gifts he gave you, and then see the resources you have and what that can transform you to. That's step one. Look in the mirror and find out what you can become. And then two, find a way to get that into this world. Find a way to bring that person you see in the mirror into flourishing. And that may be a tough road, man. That may be challenging, but you got to do that. You got to make that commitment. Like, I'm not on a commitment to become a billionaire because I want $1 billion. I'm in a commitment because when I look in the mirror, I see a billionaire. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, dude, you can do this. Like, you are capable of doing this. And then I remind myself of why I want to do it. Like, I'm like, yo, true story, man. No BS, man. Like, you know, you can call me arrogant if you want, man. I'm as arrogant as they come, man. I proclaim myself to be the GOAT. Not because I am the GOAT, because I feel like I'm going to die the GOAT. That's just my honest belief, man. When I look in the mirror, I see someone who can come from nothing and get everything. And if I can do that, if I can pay whatever dues it takes, if it takes every day of my life, if I got to work, I've told people, I am willing to work every single day until the day I die. I'm willing to do that. And if I can do that, I can show people from my community, people from inner city poverty, like, it's possible. It's not this room that you got to have an access code to, or it's not this group where you gotta know a guy who vouches for you. Nah, man, you just got to decide you want to be there, and then you got to be very conscious that it's going to take work to get into that room. You got to be willing to put forth the effort to get into that room. And that's my quest. That's my mission, is like, if you can get there, you can show everyone you could get there. And I have so much respect for people who have done that in so many fields, but I just haven't seen many people that look like me. I'm just going to be candid. Right. I haven't seen people that look like me do it in the business world. You know, I love Kevin Samuels. I love a lot of the content and the mentality he has. I think he also be talking crazy to some of these females.
Oh, that guy.
You know, but he talks about a concept that the corporate world is not the same as the outside world. The outside world is athletes, entertainment, you know, and artists. They play a different game. You know what I'm saying? If you can hoop like James Harden, you can make $50 million a year. You can make $50 million a year because you can hoop like James Harden. You know, that can happen overnight. And I'm not saying they don't work for that. You know what I'm saying? James Harden works his tail off to be James Harden. But the average Joe who is not blessed in that world, you know what I'm saying? If you are out here and you live in inner city Chicago, inner city Houston, inner city Atlanta, and you don't have a 40-inch vertical, or you don't have a jumper, well, what you going to do? You don't have the ability to become a rapper, or, you know, the quick route, right? I'm not discrediting them, but athletes, entertainers, artists, they're on a different playing field. The business world is a different game. It requires steps. It requires a ladder. It requires sometimes, you know, in corporate America is a different game, man. Like, you gotta, you know, I was in corporate America. You know this, man. I wasn't me. I was what they needed me to be. You know, I was very, very, I had to silence my confidence. I had to silence my demeanor. I had to silence the fact that I was a very smart young black man, and I had to be able to fit in with the suits. I want to show people, look, man, if you're from wherever, man, I don't care where you're from, man. I don't care where your starting point is. You can do this. You can really make the decision. yo, I'm going to read X amount of books, and I'm going to go to X amount of seminars. I'm going to read X amount. I'm going to listen to X amount of podcasts, and I'm going to start a business, and I'm going to help build my business, and I'm going to do this, and I can get to that level and arrive here with the elitist, and I can get to that room that I thought was locked, and I can unlock that door. And that's my quest. And I'm genuinely willing to sacrifice my entire life to show that possibility. So when people ask me, why do you want this? Yo, it's not about me. Like, yes, I've got to be the conduit to do that. I've got to be the vessel that takes that lesson. But, man, it ain't about me, man. Like, true story, this sounds crazy to people. Man, I'm willing to become a billionaire and not have $1 billion. True story, man. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm willing to become a billionaire and not have $1 billion. I don't need to have the money. I just want to show homie from the class, 20-year-old light-skinned dude wearing the same outfit as me. I want him to be able to watch this and go, all right, I can do this. I can do this. If he wants it, it's possible. And someone who looks like you, unfortunately, has to show you it's possible. And somebody has to be that trailblazer. My mission is to become a trailblazer, not to become wealthy. It's to become a trailblazer. So that's just kind of how I approach the game. And that's how I approach the game of life. And I respect your outlook on things. And that's why I ask you these things, is because I think we're very, very, very similar in our approach, but we're very different in our reasoning. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So let's kind of sum with a little rapid fire. Let's hit you with some rapid fire questions to kind of cap this boy off. What's the number one attribute that you possess? And when you talked about discipline, so I'm going to take away discipline. Outside of discipline, what's the number one attribute that you possess that you feel benefits you the most in what you're doing?
Besides discipline? Besides
discipline. You already said discipline was number one, so I would technically say what would be number two?
Holding myself accountable, I would say. So accountability. I don't know. For me, it's like I said, discipline is my main thing aside from like everything.
Okay, she ain't got an answer because accountability dang near discipline. Okay.
I mean, it all ties back into that for me. So anything that I would name would just go back to it.
I get that. Okay, so if I'm out here and I want to build a brand, I got a brand. I'm trying to build it up. I'm trying to become something. I'm trying to do something with my brand, my company, my entity, my logo, my personal brand. I don't care. If you got to build a brand, you're trying to build it. What's the one thing I need to know getting into the game?
Like I said, it might be cliche, but I mean, it's not going to be easy, You got to know why you're doing it. Like I said earlier, you got to have a strong purpose for it. You can't just be like a hobby. Like I said, you can't 9-to-5 entrepreneurship. You got to be all in for it. That's my main takeaway from being an entrepreneur.
Okay. And if there were one quote that would be the staple of how you live your life, what would it be?
If you dare to struggle, you dare to win. And if you dare not to struggle, then damn it, you don't deserve to win. Fred Hampton.
Sheesh. Sheesh. I ain't heard that one. That's tough. Run that boy back for me one more again.
Oh, God. If you dare to struggle, you dare to win. And if you dare not to struggle, then damn it, you don't deserve to win.
That's tough. That's tough.
That's sticky note that I look at every single day.
Okay. What's the number one habit that you have in life that you feel helps benefit what you're trying to accomplish in life? The number one habit.
God, I don't know.
Because you got a lot of habits.
Yeah.
You got a lot of habits. Which one do you hold the highest regard for?
Being, I would say, I don't know if it's really a habit, but I would say just being coachable, being teachable, not being able, just thinking that I know it all for sure. So just
humility is necessary to become successful, and we all learn that the hard way if we don't learn it the easy way. But I'm talking about a specific habit, one specific habit. You talked about a couple. You talked about how you wake up early. You talked about the sticky notes. You talked about a lot of different habits you have. Which one do you hold to the highest regard?
I probably would say it's the getting up early one for
Okay.
sure. Because if I don't do that, then I can't accomplish any of, the things that I'm doing. So that it all ties back in with that. So it's just making a habit of being able to get up early and get shit done.
5 a.m. is what you're saying. Let's say I'm watching this and I'm just not one of those people, but I want to become successful. I'm trying to look in my heart and look in my situation to become more successful. You believe I got to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning?
I mean, whatever works for you. You can wake up at 5 p.m., but you probably got to stay up to 5 a.m.
Yeah. You just got to have that amount of time to play the game.
Yeah, whatever works for you, but just make sure you're getting it done.
Okay. All right. So next question. If you could have 1 week, business aside, money is not relevant. Nothing's relevant. And you could have 1 week to go anywhere and do anything. What would it be?
Anywhere?
Anywhere and do anything. Money is not an option.
Okay. I probably would go to Australia. They have this thing out here, I think, where you can just pet the animals and stuff. But for me, it's just not animals. I love elephants, so I want to go ride elephants. I don't know.
You love elephants?
I don't know what you expect me to say, but yeah, I want that is on my to-do list. I just want.
Why do you love elephants?
Because they represent, they're family oriented, and I'm really big on family, and loyalty. So that's what they represent. But I just love elephants. So.
Okay, if you had one idol, right? One person that you looked at the most, that inspired you, that motivated you, that pushed you, that gave you, any bit of swagger, the person that you maybe emulated, who would it be? You had to attest it to one individual.
Just one person?
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, there's a lot of influence, but everyone has that one icon, that one person who inspires them the most. The one person they've attempted to emulate. Everyone knows mine without even having to say it. I don't even got to say it.
Everybody knows mine, too.
Okay, go.
It's Dwayne Wade.
D-Wade.
Yes, everybody knows that.
All right, D-Wade, why?
All right, ever since I was a kid, I don't know, I just wanted to be like him from, basketball. He went through challenges too, just to hear his story. I pretty much try to watch, all his interviews that he's done, podcasts and stuff. But, and from now, just outside of basketball, just being a great, father, being family oriented. And that's, what I've been raised off of. So until now, being into the wine industry. So, yeah, that's pretty much who I've been on the path of following.
So you initially seemed like you had doubt, and now all of a sudden it's like everybody knows it.
I mean, I didn't have doubt, but I take pieces of every, everybody. But I mean, everybody knows the Dwayne Wade.
Yeah. Okay. And if you had someone sitting right in front of you who only had the opportunity to ask you this question, and they said, "Bre, I want to become more successful. I'm not where I want to be. What advice can you give me?" And you only had 20 seconds, what would you say?
Advice to give someone to be successful. Oh, my God.
You're already diving in your 20 seconds, right? Their
oh,
mom's
my
about
God.
to pick them up. They're like, yo, my mom outside, man.
You got to have a strong-ass work ethic. For me, the work ethic is everything. So, I mean, that can touch with a lot of things. So, that's pretty much what I can give you.
So, if Youngin was here and said, "Bre, I got 20 seconds. My mom's about to pick me up. I need to know the advice it takes to win," you would say,
"Don't give up.
You got to have a strong ass work ethic.
Don't give up." I mean, yeah, it's cliche, but
Have a strong ass work ethic.
You know what? I live by the golden rule. And I feel like you do get out what you put in, so you just treat others how you want to be treated.
I was watching the Roof Hustler, man. I want to give him his shout out. I want to give him his credit. And he said the golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated, but the platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated.
Yeah,
Jacked me up,
that's
right?
Different, yeah.
Jacked me up. He said the golden rule is to treat others how you want to be treated, but the platinum rule is to treat others how they want to be treated. And the difference between that is you gotta learn these people. You gotta know how they want to be treated. You gotta understand their mentality, their personality. And that, I've learned some great lessons from some great people, but that boy rocked.
That was mind blowing a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? That boy rocked me.
Now that you think about it.
You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Well, let's end the show with this. Talk to us about this wine you got. Hold on, I got you. I'm a connoisseur after this episode. This is that Bogle Vineyards.
It's California based, so you don't have to put any type of, emphasis on it. You can pronounce it like it's, American.
It's Bogle.
No, it's Bogle.
Hey, I'm about to be to become a what's it called?
What? Bogle.
No, what's the people with the certifications?
Oh, a sommelier.
I'm about to become a sommelier.
Sommelier.
A sommelier.
I'm
about to become one of them.
Yes, Bogle. We are drinking Bogle for the night.
Is this one of your preferences or what?
Petite Syrah. I really don't even, get into Syrahs as much, but tonight I definitely wanted to, touch on it a little bit.
So let's say I wanted to get in the wine. I wanted to check out your reviews. I wanted to see, your platform. I wanted to talk, see your stuff. How do I find you?
On Instagram, my main page is Magnese_finest with 3 I's. That's how you would get your wine rates from me. So I will be posting this later next week to give you more in-depth about descriptions about it, what it is, but I can go over a little bit more about it. What I've been drinking tonight, because obviously he hasn't.
Come on now,
drinking.
Y'all seen me.
It's a Petite Syrah. It's a mixture of Zinfandel, Cabernet, even with Pinot Noir. It pairs great with my favorite pasta, even barbecue, as well as filet mignon. It's a great wine. It has a high ABV, 14.5 . So yeah, I definitely.
I knew I was feeling that 14.5, man.
That's probably why I was quiet.
Hey, look, that's why your answers are short. Is that 14.5, huh?
It caught me off guard, but it's definitely a great one. But I can go more in depth later this week, so be on the lookout for that.
Okay, so let's say I wanted to buy some apparel. Obviously, you said you got the clothing out, you got the wine tumblers. What else you got?
Hoodies, joggers, aprons, tumblers, socks, t-shirts. Yeah,
you didn't grew, huh? Little girl didn't grew up, man.
Yeah, I just had my Valentine's edition. That just passed. But also, I'm from Louisiana, so of course I had to create something, Louisiana, and that's on there too. It's a limited edition.
What y'all got? Beignets? Y'all got them beignets out, man?
You got a stereotype. No, it's an embroidery, and it just have Louisiana on it, but it is,
the state of Louisiana, like the picture of it?
No, it's spelled out Louisiana, but for the L, it does have wine glasses, so it's just a little bit different.
Okay, so let me ask you on air while we're still on camera, what you brought me today? Cricket. Come on now.
I wasn't aware they were bringing gifts. You asked me to be on your show. What do I have?
Let me remind y'all about something, man. One, I didn't get invited to be a model. Okay, I just want to say this before we get off this episode, man. I'm gorgeous, okay? I didn't get invited to be a model. She ain't send me no hoodie. She ain't send me no shirt. She ain't bring me no gear here today. She ain't send me no discount code. And then I also, while everyone is listening right now, also, I want to remind you, with all that in mind, I was a part of creating the logo. How you use me for advice on the logo?
So now, if you can rewind this, you did say it wasn't like you weren't a part of it. You did say that.
Could have sent a boy a hoodie. Okay, so talk to us. Let's say we wanted to get some of your apparel. Where we got to go to get it?
You can go to thefowlercollection.co, and it's online. Also, my Instagram page, The Fowler Collection.
Okay, thefowlercollection.co.
Yes.
.co. Awesome. What's the newest drop? And then 2 questions. What's the newest drop? And then what's the bestseller?
The newest drop is my Wine Expensive hoodie. It's a hoodie that has a logo, well, not a logo, but a definition on it. It says only drink, no, it's not considered an alcoholic when it's expensive wine. That's my latest one. Now, I love that hoodie, actually. I wore it today when I was out and about. And my probably most popular one would be my wine definition one.
And what does that say?
Only drink on days that end in day.
That's every day. Come on now, look. She be in the recruiting office, turned to the max, to the max. Okay,
Yeah.
The final question of the night, and this is the one we ask. When it's all said and done, and your legacy is over, and you're on the deathbed, right? You're in the bed, and it's like, Bre, you only got 3 hours to live. What is the thing you're most proud of? And again, this is your depiction of how you created your life. It could be anything. It's what's most important to you. What is the one thing? You got 3 hours left to live. You got ESPN sitting right there with a cameraman. Bre Fowler, for your 30 for 30, what is the most important thing you have accomplished on this earth in your time in this body? What is it?
I would say...
And speak it in the present tense like you have accomplished it. Even if you haven't already, say, this is what I am most proud of. Manifest that boy.
I'm most proud of stepping into a lane that, pretty much wasn't designed for people like me, and overcoming it, and dominating it, actually. So, and just being positive, so.
Love it, man. She had to switch it up and say dominating it. Look, man, this is my honest belief, and I'm going to end it with this. You get into an industry, you get into an endeavor, you get into an experience, you get into an opportunity, you get into a company, you get into a business, you get into a team, you get into an organization. Get in there, make a wave. Stop being a face in the room. If you've been a face in the room your whole life, make a decision today. Make a decision right now. You tired of it. Make a decision that you're tired of being tired, and decide right now. I'm not playing this game to play. I'm playing to win. And once you determine that you have the ability to win, then switch your mind to saying, I'm here to dominate my competition. I'm here to get into this and make everybody else regret the fact that they let me in the first place. That's my mission. I appreciate you saying that. I hope every single one of you guys get the opportunity to adapt that mindset. It may take a year, it may take 10 years, it may take 20 years. It's in you. It is in you. She's trying to show you it's possible. My life's mission is to show you that you're capable of it. Make the decision that I don't give a crap what industry it is. I don't give a crap what endeavor it is. Get in that boy and make it yours. Own it and say, man, I'm kicking doors down. If you don't want to open the door for me, I'm going to cut a hole in this wall. I love every single one of you guys. I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate all you for supporting it. If you didn't make sure you make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment your honest feedback. Edwin, our media manager, he watches all that stuff. He replies to every single comment. He looks at the feedback. He sends me a report on if I was sounding stupid, if I was drunk. He lets me know I dropped ashes all on my shirt. He checks that stuff. So leave a comment. Let us know your feedback. Let us know if you would have liked to hear different questions. Let us know if you need a part 2, because she was over here not answering questions, talking about some one-word answers and stuff. We appreciate all you guys. Thank you for watching the Student of the Game podcast. We will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks.